Okay, is it actually live for once? It's actually live. Please tell me the stream actually works. I'm going to be mad if it doesn't work. I'm actually gonna be pissed off if it doesn't work. I don't know why that I did not end the stream. OBS decided, you know what? What if I ended the stream for you? Because that's exactly what I wanted. Yes, I totally wanted OBS to end the stream for me. Maybe it's for the better. You never know. Maybe it just makes things better. It doesn't. But that's, yeah, whatever. I don't even know. Guess shit happens, right? But yeah, we're back. I guess we're back. We're live. I need to pay better attention to if my stream randomly decides to crash for no fucking reason. 'Cause yeah, alright. You know what? Okay, let me put in chat zika.net. Okay, yeah, server zika.net NA2. Okay. Is it going to work this time? Pin message. Okay. Finally, holy shit. Be sure to smash like. What happened? Well, what happened is, you know, OBS decided that I don't know when to end the stream myself. So, OBS decided that OBS knows better and ended the stream for me. Why, you may be asking? I don't fucking know. Because OBS decided to be an asshole today and end the stream for me. Because reasons, I guess. But yes, I'm back now. I think. Right? Is it still going? Yeah, the stream is still going. Wow, it's made a whole 2 minutes or some shit. Yeah, we're back. We are back, I think. I'm gonna be mad if it fucking crashes again. Like, come on. What does OBS, like, who gains from OBS ending the stream for me? Why did it end the stream? I don't know. I think it just, like, froze for whatever reason. Because I enabled preview, right? And then it was just, like, it just was, like, stuck on, like, one frame. Which was very odd. I don't think I've ever seen it do that before. Today is the first time I've seen that happen. But, yeah, I think what were we talking about? Oh, yes, I remember. I said something before, and then, got sidetracked, and then I started talking about, oh, yeah, that's right, boats. When does, okay, let's say you have a boat, right? And you keep replacing parts slowly over time. You just keep giving it better parts, and you slowly replace it. At what point does it become a completely different boat? Is it once you've replaced every single part of the boat, is it the same boat? Or is it a different boat? And at what point, if it's a different boat, at what point do you draw the line? When, is it halfway? At what point does it become a boat with the parts of a different boat, right? Like, at what point does it become a new boat? Does it become a new boat the first part you change? I mean, technically, there is a difference. It is different to the boat that was there before. Does that make it a different boat if you just, like, change, like, one molecule or some shit? Like, maybe not. Maybe it's not a different boat. It's basically the same boat, right? We all accept it as the same boat. But I find it fascinating how, like, you can just change something, and then, oh, I think the reason I was using that as an analogy was originally because I was talking about, how some of the textures in my packs, despite being, modified versions of already existing textures, it's like, I've changed them and retextured certain parts of them and change the color, not even just color correcting at this point, but like changing certain pixels to just make it like look better. Like, at what point does it become a new texture? Like, is it when you just like change the color from like red to gold, or is it when you make it like change the contrast? Is it a new texture when I invert the colors and then color correct it from there? But technically the arrangement of the pixels is kind of similar relative to the other pixels. Like, at what point does it become its own texture? I don't fucking know. I don't have the answer to that. Nor will I ever, because at the end of the day, it's all arbitrary. I feel like as a society, we make these arbitrary distinctions between something that is the same as something that is the same but slightly modified, and an entirely new thing. But there's not really a fine line. And it's like, does this become, like, is this just an edit of a previous pack, or is it my own pack? Because, I think originally this started from, just, like, some, like, vanilla pack, and then I made, like, and then I edited more and more textures, and then I created more and more variations, took different textures from different packs. It's like, what pack even is this? If this is just a pack edit, what is the pack edit of, right? Like, at this point, it's my own pack, right? But I don't know at what point it became my own pack. Is it when I changed the armor, and then brought a cube map from a different map that wasn't the same as the armor? Is it when I, you know, combined, or color corrected it, and then combined that? Like, when does it become like, its own thing? I don't know. And I guess that kind of, like, goes into, like, it kind of, is part of why fair use laws are so complex. Because the same thing applies with fair use. When does it become, like, when is it stealing? Like, where it's like, oh, well, you see, I added a red pixel at the bottom left corner of the screen, therefore I own the rights to this movie. Because it's a different movie. It's like, okay, well, maybe it's not a different movie. By the way, you guys can send me duel requests if you want. Why are you on the worst MCPE pot server? Well, because last time I checked, there was literally Venom was unjoinable, actually. And also, I don't feel like turning on a VPN, because it might end the stream, because the stream likes to end itself if maybe there's, like, one tiny fucking error with my Wi-Fi, so it's like, you know, I don't know why it does that, it just does. And then also, because I'm using, like, a free version of yeah, okay. Okay, Minecraft, okay. That probably was my Wi-Fi, to be honest, not the server. But still, either way, hopefully, it's not, like, cutting out on stream. Hopefully the stream... I guess he just disappeared. Oh, wait, no, I did not mean to minimize that. I really did not mean to minimize that. Okay. Hold on. Just making sure it's still streaming. Okay, it's still streaming, good. I don't know why the dude logged off. But that is a-okay. But, yeah, let's see, what else is there? Okay, so we've got a couple, hopefully, yeah, but, as you know, as you can tell, I am a professional streamer that definitely doesn't ever have bad Wi-Fi issues or technical difficulties where the stream just decides, what if I didn't work properly? You know? That would be a great idea, wouldn't it? Also, my hands are so fucking cold. Like, genuinely freezing. Like, they're absurdly cold. But, oh well. I guess shit happens, right? I guess so. You know, why shit happens, who knows? It just does, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. When it comes to, like, this game in general, like, it's a weird thing where, like, it's something where, like, being the best legit player is, like, unironically, like, a pretty reasonable goal. To an extent. In that, if you want, if you try hard enough, play enough, you can become the best legit player if you put enough brain power into it, right? But then but, like, what is the, like, how do you know from an outside perspective who the best legit is? Like, are they the best legit, or are they just a decent closet cheater who's still good legit and good at hiding their cheats? Like, for instance, and this is more of a theoretical idea, right? Let's say there's me, and then there's a clone of me, except he's slightly worse at PvP, but that's only in terms of skill, and but he auto-clicks, with a randomizer, which is hard to tell, and, also, he uses, like, cheats that are just unnoticeable, and everyone thinks he's the best legit. Well, in that case, from an outside perspective, how do you know? Like, if someone's using, like, non-blatant settings, like, how do you know that they're cheating? Like, how do you know that they're just... Because, like, okay, obviously, in order to be good at, like, genuine closet cheating, you have to be good legit. And then that begs the question, is it even worth it to closet cheat at that point? Like, does it even make sense? Like, oh, wow, I'm better by, like, 5 hearts in an entire no debuff match. You know, you know, me with those closet cheats, you know, I'll like, 0 to 2 pot normal me, right? It's like, is it worth it then to know that you're, like, technically cheating and that you're, like, barely better? Like, is it worth it? Because, like, in my experience, it's not. It's not worth it. Honestly, I think I'm better at the game when I'm just completely legit, because it's like, you know, I feel like I'm genuinely good at something, when I, you know, play legit, right? So it's like, I don't see a point in cheating. Now, maybe it's because when I do cheat, and I have tried, fucking closeting before, I've done it while not recording, and not on my main, because I don't want people to think I'm legit when I'm not in a certain scenario. So I want people to be able to distinguish when I am and when I'm not, right? So if I'm on some alt, well, and they don't even know it's me, well, okay, then they don't have to make that distinction. And it's not, like, something I would ever lie about, because it's fucking, who cares, right? Like, no one gives a shit, alright? It's so normalized that you'd have to be a dumbass to lie. Like, it just makes you look like an asshole. Especially if you're, like, only kind of blatant. Like, if you're really blatant, then people will just assume you're, like, memeing. Like, people won't take you seriously, and will assume you're doing it as, like, a joke. Kind of like what El Window did. But, it's weird because I wonder if part of it has to do with imposter syndrome. Like, even when I play normally, right? When I'm on my main, you know, it's like, I will come up with reasons for why I did not deserve to win the fight. Right? Like, oh, well, I just got lucky, or, the other player was just washed, or zoning out for some reason. And it's like, while there might be some truth to that sometimes, like, I'm not gonna say that I 15-potted Doc Penguin plays in his prime. Like, I did technically 15-pot him, but it was his first fight on in, like, a year, and he probably wasn't trying that hard. I mean, even if he was, it's like, okay. But, like, he hasn't played in, like, ages, so. And then, like, we fought a couple more times. I don't know if he knew it was me. I don't know how aware he is of my alts. Or, well, not how aware is he of my alt, but, like, some of my alts are, like, made to be obvious that it's me. Like, the one I'm on right now. You know, it's like I make it obvious by using similar-ish name, same skin, etc. But, like, you know, it's like, obviously he, you know, like, the more he fought me, the better he got, until he was getting me down to, like, 3 pots, which, for somebody washed, is actually pretty good. To be fair, it was on Zika, and, like, you know, whether or not I was playing well is another story. I don't know if I was playing well. It's hard to say, because the only way of measuring that is literally by comparing yourself to others, at least to an extent, right? So it's like, was he getting better each fight, or was I just trying less? I mean, once I get that 15 pot and it's clipped, it's like, well, do I continue? And yes, that might be in a future video. But, oh wow, I'm glad to see staff have really good grammar. Sorry. I think that it's you know, or it could be a combination of both. Maybe I was trying less and he was trying more. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, you know, here you have, like, a top legit player, right? Like, someone who's genuinely good legit. And then you have, like, ex-best legit player. It's like, why am I beating him? Is it because he's washed and I'm good, but he's, like, still good, but just not as good as he used to be? You know, maybe he's just, you know, his play style is outdated. Maybe that's part of the problem. I don't think that that's what it was. And it's like, it's this weird thing where no matter what, like, there's always going to be some external factor that makes me better than the other player by comparison, right? And vice versa. Like, you know, like, everybody gets 9-potted or 9 pots somebody that's, like, the same level as them, right? Like, most of the time when I fight young Hisu, for instance, like, I'm gonna be real, usually the fights end up with, like, I'd say usually I win, but, like, only by, like, 0 to 2 pots, okay? Like, and it's on NA, so I have a ping advantage. So, like, normally I don't beat him by that much. And, like, usually he only auto-clicks. He has cheated, but he's really annoying to fight when he cheats. But, you know, like, I think it's, but, like, obviously there was the one time I 11-potted him, and it was in my video. Obviously it was really, part of why I included it wasn't to say I was good, but it was like, wow, look at this gap in pots, and it's like, yeah, like, this, it adds to the, it's like, yeah, like, oh, wow, this, like, wow, he destroyed him. Like, he didn't just, like, barely win. Like, he didn't just, like, it wasn't, like, down to the wire. Like, he was just shitting on him. It's like, damn. And it's like, that's the point. Like, it makes it more entertaining. So I think there has to be, like, I believe when it comes to making good videos, there has to be a good balance between just trying to make it entertaining, like, doing things that are unskilled for the sake of entertainment, and actually being skilled. I think when people fake clip, even though it looks like, wow, oh my god, sharpness 10 potted X raids, it's like, yeah, because either they fought each other 100 times, or because they fake clip each other, or both. Like, it's, you know, and that's why they all beat each other by, like, so many pots, right? It's weird how, you know, like, but it's, at the same time, it's like, okay, but if the only thing you're showing off is skill, right? What if I'm fighting a really blatant cheater? And, like, they're, like, basically impossible for you to beat, like, functionally speaking. But I beat them by -2 pots. And I got no combos. And all I did was, like, out-crit them. I didn't even get more hits. All I did was out-crit and out-pot conserve. And then get a quickie. At the very end, when I had, like, I don't know, like, 0 and they have 2 pots. Or some shit like that. Even though, technically speaking, that might be more impressive. And then this is all theoretical. Is it worth putting into a video? I would wager no. Like, unless it's, like, maybe for comedy? Like, oh, wow, that's funny. Look how hard this guy is cheating. And now he's, like, getting mad in chat. Or some shit like that. I don't know. Because he died to me. But, like, even though it might have required more skill for me to do that than to 11 pot young Hisu on, like, his worst day or whatever. Like, you know, and it was one of many fights. But it's like, okay, well, okay, even if it's more impressive than that, it's like, is it more entertaining? Obviously, no. No, it is not more entertaining. But, you know y'all can, like, /duel me, right? IMO, everyone will notice. Well, not everyone, but if you, okay, yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I think you're talking about the closet cheating thing. Yeah, it's hard to tell, because the best legit player also is considered suspect. Because if nobody else is better than you, and you have mastered every single PvP mechanic that other people don't know as much about, right, then you are just as likely, in the eyes of everybody else, to be cheating, right? You're using the same mechanics. It's like, maybe the guy, like, because from an outside perspective, the very non-blatant cheater version of me that's slightly worse, but better because of the cheats, like, only slightly better because of the cheats, maybe they're just using the same mechanics, but slightly better than me. And it's hard to say. And, like, oh, well, what if, you know, like, how do you tell? And it's like, well, maybe you can't always tell. But then the question becomes, do I just then give them the benefit of the doubt? I would argue yes, just because, like, I don't like to accuse people falsely, right? Unless it's either as a joke, or because it's funny, or I'm just, like, dicking around, or, like, trolling the other person. Or if I get mad, honestly, I might, you know, it's like, I might accuse someone of using velocity if they're only using auto, or some shit. I mean, I will, like, I won't accuse them if I don't genuinely believe that they're cheating. Like, I'll genuinely believe it in the moment, but then afterwards I might be like, well, I mean, I did miss, like, 7 pots, and they only 1-potted me, and, also, you know, I was playing like shit. Maybe that has more to do with me not being able to reach them than like, or, well, I guess, no, if they, okay, this dude is wasting my time. I think this is unranked, right? Did I queue unranked? I don't know. I might just /FF if he keeps running. Because I don't really care. If it was ranked, I wouldn't mind either, because then it's free elo. So, yeah. But, yeah, it's weird, because it's like, who in their right mind would want to closet cheat, but, like, so subtly that they're only better by a margin of 1 or 2 pots? Like, the only reason they win is because thanks to their slight extra reach and CPS, they were able to maybe land a crit slightly further away that every once in a while that they normally wouldn't. It's like, okay, or like get slightly few extra hits. Like, a few extra hits off of it, right? And it's like, is it worth it though? Like, who would genuinely want to do that? Because you basically get the same thing, except you feel worse about yourself, right? And it's not something to rule out completely, because there could be somebody that has... I think that a lot of cheaters have the opposite of imposter syndrome, where it's like, they'll cheat their nuts off, but they'll think that they're good. They think they're good at the game, and that everybody else cheats harder than them, even if they're not, or if they're legit. Like, if anybody beats them, then they're it's because they're cheating harder, right? It's not because they're getting outplayed or anything. And that they genuinely see it that way, right? And it's this weird thing where it's like they have, like, instead of having imposter syndrome and not taking any credit for anything, they take credit for the work that the cheats are doing. Because either they think that, oh, well, it barely makes me better, and it's like everybody else does it, or like, oh, you know, like, my closet cheats cancel out the other person's closet cheats, which, I mean, obviously only works under the assumption that the other person is cheating, which they might not be. Like, if they're fighting me and they assume that I'm closet cheating, they're wrong. Like, they just suck at cheating if they can't beat me. Like, I'm sorry, that's just the truth. Sorry if there's any closet cheaters watching this that can't beat me. Like, you know, it's okay, man. Happens to the best of us. But, it also happens to the worst of us. I.e. you. No, I'm kidding, I don't give a shit. You know what, I'm gonna play a different game mode. This is boring. What if I'm gonna play Battle Rush. I think Battle Rush seems fun. Yeah, let's play Battle Rush. Play Bridge? Well, I'm already queued for Battle Rush. I'm terrible at Bridge, by the way. I think. Unless I'm thinking of a different game mode. Yeah, because, like... Yeah, isn't that the one where it's like the entire thing is about block placement? I'm terrible at that. I'm good at things that include blocks, but it's like, when it's a game mode where it's like, that's the main skill, like, I'm fucked. I'm not gonna win. Unless... Actually, no, that's not true, because, like, there... Okay. Wait. Okay. Yeah, alright. I was zoning out. Okay, looks like I actually have to try. Oh well. Maybe I have to focus. Is this guy reaching, or am I just playing like shit? Ayo. Okay, to be fair, this motherfucker... Okay, he's outreaching me. I don't know if that's just me. To be fair, it could just be my hits not registering. But that is awfully suspect. Okay, now I have to win 3 times in a row. Can I do it? I don't know. Hello, knockback? Buddy, do you not, like, take linear KB? To be fair, I don't take much either when I jump reset. But, I don't know. No, go sideways. No. Okay, I think he's just better at it. Okay, well, GG. Well played. Even if he is cheating, he outplayed me on the last one. That's for fucking sure. I don't know how to play Battle Rush. Okay, I have played it a few times. But, like, I don't think I was playing against anybody good. Because it was really easy. All I had to do was just, like, push them off the edge. Okay, so it's not just me. The hit reg is dog shit. Okay, I don't think the other guy was cheating. Because, 1, he outsmarted me. And 2, other people are complaining about hit reg. Yeah, so, okay. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. See, this is what I mean by, like, the other person is not good. So, like, winning... Oh, my... Wow. Okay. The other person is not good. Yeah, alright. Sure. And then there's me, who's really good. Look, you see? That was all a part of my plan. Because I knew he he would have stopped me from going into the... He would have hit me off the edge later, and then he would have, like... Yeah, and then he would have won or something. I don't know. It was all... I died on purpose to trick him into thinking I was bad. Yeah, that's right. It was just... Oh my god. You just... Was that... Did I see something that nobody else did? With the fucking... He, like, placed the block, like, through me. Like, what the fuck? How does that make any fucking sense? Okay, go into the void. Go into the void. Bye. Go into the void, please. Go into the void. Go into the void. Oh, wow. Thank you for making it so easy. Why would you place blocks? Like, why would you build a bridge over my bridge, like, 1 block higher? Like, why? If I'm ahead of you, how does that help? It doesn't even, like, make it, like, easier to, like, hit me or anything. No! Okay. That was no, okay. Fucking respawns, and it scares the shit out of me every time, even though I know he's gonna respawn. Okay, now's my chance. Alright. See, I'm, like, terrible at this. Like, I can barely fucking place blocks, okay? But it's okay. You know, we're all bad at placing. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna play boxing, and I'm gonna S-hold, alright? I'm gonna... Ooh, someone wants to play ranked no debuff. I'll do that after this. But first, I need to, like, play really annoying, okay? Wait, is this guy mobile? Or is he just hit selecting? I can't tell. I think he's just hits. I don't know. If he's mobile, like, he's doing good. Okay, he hasn't gotten a combo on me. Get a combo. What are you... No, can you combo me, please? Thank you. Now I can S-hold. It's the I did the big funny, okay? God damn. Normally I get comboed, I think. I don't know. People try so hard in boxing, and I just don't give a shit. I just S-hold because it makes people mad, and I play just well enough so that they can't beat me. Like, I don't even bother, like, trying to get, like, long-ass combos. I just try to, like, barely out-trade them. Just, like that, for instance. I didn't go for a combo. I didn't give a shit. I just wanted to, like... You know what? I mean, but if I do get a combo... I will take a free combo. But yeah, he's just like, what the fuck? As I'm, like, flying... Oh, yeah! They all... Oh, I have an unfair advantage, now that I think of it. Because I'm on 1.12, connected through TDAC. I can sprint backwards, and other people can't. Like, So, like, I basically go flying backwards whenever I S-hold. Because usually, I can consistently sprint backwards. I can't always get it right. Let's see if he says anything. I can't say anything back, unfortunately. You know what? I'm gonna queue ranked no debuff. What? Oh my god, what is he? Q-U Ranem Du Osinf Q un randnb osing. What? I don't get it. What is he saying? I don't know what game mode he's trying to... Is he saying unranked boxing? What game mode is this? Somebody tell me! What game mode is he trying to... Okay. At here, ranked, no debuff. Oh, right, I'm muted. Because Zika's staff are fucking retarded. Got it. Okay. Well, I hope somebody just queues then. If not, I just run around spawn until somebody does. Because Zika's staff are fucking retarded. And, you know, I'm too... See, I allegedly would use the strategy of going on an alt, where I'm not muted, and then using that. Allegedly. But, since I'm streaming, that would allegedly be evidence of me mute evading, which I would obviously never do. I mean, well, I mean, I did get banned for mute evading because I kept creating parties whenever I wanted to say. Okay, to be fair though, Like, the only reason I was creating parties to, like, say GG, because I feel bad if somebody says GG, and then I'm just, like, and I don't say it back, then I feel like a dick. So, okay, I think I did call Zika staff, like, retarded. I was, like, I made a bunch of parties just to say I got muted because Zika staff have Down syndrome or something. I don't know. Like, and then I got banned for 3 days or some shit. I don't know. I appealed the thing, and then my case was that I was only evading the mute because it was a false mute, and I got mute. I asked them why I was even muted, and apparently it's because I said the word retarded. But dude, like, okay, first of all, like, I'm diagnosed with ASD, so like I'm allowed to say it. First of all, I'm not saying that you guys aren't allowed to say it, by the way. First of all, I'm gonna close the blinds because it's dark outside. Alright. Oh, man. Oof. Anyways, as I was saying, before I rudely interrupted myself, like, I don't think that the word retarded is offensive at all. I think that the context matters. And this is coming from someone who technically would be the target of such an awful slur, right? Like, but like, if somebody calls me a retard not because I have ASD, but because, like, I'm, like, annoying them, or, like, they just kind of dislike me, like, I don't take offense to that, because it doesn't, they're not like, they're just saying it as, like, mean word. Like, that's literally all it is. I do the same shit. Like, I say it as an insult. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, but I especially, telling me that there's no logical explanation for why I can't say the word retarded, right? Okay, it would be one thing if I was, like, on, like, an alt, and it's, like, nobody, like, there's no public information about me, or whatever, but it's, like, you can sift through, like, all of my, like, content and streams, and it's, like, okay, like, because I'm a public figure, I think it's different. You know, I'm not saying I should have special treatment. I think that everybody should be able to say the word, frankly. I just think that it is especially retarded for me to get muted for a month because I said a word. It's like, the only thing that I find offensive about it, no, the only thing that I'm getting offended by is the fact that they're getting offended on my behalf about a word that doesn't even fucking apply to them, applies to me on, like, on a technical basis. Like, but that I don't find offensive. Like, people that get offended on my behalf, one, they make me look fucking, like, they make, when people do shit like that, they make minority groups look fucking retarded, okay? Like, oh no, they're just like poor defenseless children, and you need to walk on eggshells around them. No, fuck that. Maybe there are some instances in which that is the case. And if there are some people like that in any group, in like, general society, it's not like, oh, you know, you have to walk on eggshells around this person because they have autism. No, it's like, okay, there might be somebody that has autism who you'd probably need to kind of walk on eggshells with anyways, but you have to do so even more because they have, like, less controlled reactions, whenever, like, you know, whenever, but, like, and obviously, like, there are different, like, like, obviously, you know, there's certain contexts where, like, okay, yeah, but I don't think that it's fair to, like, tell me that I can't use a certain word that is only considered offensive because why? Because, oh no, what if you offend the autistic people? Okay, well, what if it's the autistic person themselves that's saying it then who's getting offended? Literally, almost just about everybody who's on the spectrum that, like, I've talked to doesn't find the word retarded offensive. Like, they say the word all the fucking time, too. Like, they say it just as much as me. The only reason I don't say it more on stream, aside from right now, because I'm thinking about it, is because YouTube might demote my stream algorithmically if it hears the retard word over and over again. So I should stop. But there's a difference between me not wanting to do something because of an AI, you know, that doesn't have things like common sense, you know, demoting my content algorithmically, and a human being not using common sense and being like, well, okay, realistically, who's getting offended by the word and why? Why should I have to walk on eggshells when the only person who would genuinely be targeted would be me, right? Like, if someone wanted if someone just, you know, let's say you have, like, a Nazi, or, like, a neo-Nazi, whatever, you know, I would be one of the first people they would gas, even though I have blonde hair, blue eyes. Actually, I don't know, because then I would just, like, mask, right? Like, I would just be, like, fake as fuck, right? Like, I mean, I used to be fake, you know, I don't make it, you know, like, okay, obviously on YouTube it's a little bit different, but, like, in my day-to-day life, like, I just act normal. Like, sure, you know, I may ramble on a bunch, for YouTube, and, you know, maybe that might make it a little bit more obvious when I'm just saying whatever the fuck I'm thinking, but one, I'm doing it on purpose, two, I'm self-aware about it, and three, it makes the stream more entertaining anyways. Like, I would say the majority of people, when it comes to public speaking, like, they have to actively put forth effort to talk as fluently at a big crowd of people as I do. Like, it genuinely costs them time and energy to, like, fucking practice, and it makes them all nervous or whatever. Okay, obviously, if there's a big crowd, and maybe I'm not sure of myself, okay, maybe I get a little bit nervous, okay? I'm a human being, too, obviously. At least I think I am. I don't know, maybe I'm not. Some people would argue I'm not. But that's okay. Some people are wrong, I think. Maybe they're right, who knows? Maybe I'm actually, like, an AI. You know. I mean, there's a non-zero chance I'm an AI that doesn't even realize that it's an AI. I mean, do you program AIs that realize that they're AIs and understand that they're not real people? No, I don't think so. As far as the AI is concerned, it's a real person. I'm just saying. You know, maybe that's me. Who knows? Maybe it's you. Maybe you're an AI. Maybe you're living in a simulation. I don't know. Maybe you are the only person that's actually conscious, and everybody around you is just, like, this, like, simulated, like, you know, like, fucking reality. But at the end of the day, they're just an unconscious part of reality that's being simulated around you, the one conscious being. I mean, you never know. I mean, you can't prove otherwise, right? Like, it's impossible to prove that. I mean, you can try. I mean, but, like, I don't think there would be one, there's no way to prove it. Two, I guess, yeah, how would you even go about proving that? You wouldn't. Unless maybe, like, you have, like, access to, like more spatial dimensions, and then, like, somehow have access to, like, the space-time continuum, assuming that's a thing. And then, like, yeah, you use that ability to determine, in order to find where your consciousness comes from, and then once you find the origin of it, then I don't fucking know. I'm really stretching here. I'm trying, okay? The point is it can't really be proven reasonably, at least. Like, I don't think any reasonable person thinks it's possible, at least not as of right now. Sure, there maybe in a million years it'll have been done. Like, I'm not gonna say that in a million years that it's not possible to do that. Maybe in a million years. Who knows? I don't know. Then again, if I'm gonna apply that to me, for instance, or even to you, then that wouldn't make sense either, because then, well, no, because then the simulated reality, oh, well, then that would open another can of worms, which is the reality being simulated when you're not there? Like, if you're not aware of the reality, even though it may seem like it's going on, and when you come back to it, it might simulate that there has been change. It'll simulate changes. Is it really there, continuing while you're gone? I mean, there's no way to know. And if that's the case, there would be no chance of it being proven in a million years from now that were the case. So technically, you know, there's a non-zero chance. Okay, if we're all conscious, right? And it's not just one conscious person living in a simulation, which I would believe would be me. If you're conscious, you would believe would be you. But if there's only one conscious human being, let's say me, because I'm very important, I know, then how would I go about proving that? The universe wouldn't give me, one, the universe probably wouldn't give me an outlet to do that. Two, I'm not smart enough on my own to do that. And three, I guess you would have to make the simulation self-aware enough, and that I guess it would like discover it, but it wouldn't be even if it, because unless my consciousness is being simulated for millions of years on Earth somehow, or like in the universe, which I don't think it will. Maybe it will. Maybe it will. I don't know. I can't prove that it won't. Doesn't mean I believe it will. I think once you die, you're just dead. But that's just my personal opinion. People believe lots of weird stuff, when it comes to death. And I'm not gonna say what is and isn't correct. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've never experienced dying. So I don't personally know what it's like. We can all take, our best educated guess. I mean, does anybody in chat want to take their best educated guess as to what happens after you die? You know, yeah. Why don't we have a debate in chat? You know what? No. Let's not just have a religious debate in chat. Let's talk about everybody's favorite subject for the dinner table: abortion. Yes. I think you guys should have a debate about that in chat. Wouldn't that be funny? You know, I'm not even gonna say anything other than pro-choice is based, because, like, okay, my argument is more of a philosophical one. I could make the practical arguments of, you know, making abortion illegal doesn't actually reduce abortion very much, and has other ramifications that are worse. Half my hits aren't even registered. Okay, so it's not just me that has shit reg. Yeah, I'm not the only one with shit reg. But anyway, okay. So, first of all, if you think of a fetus as a human being, then what does that entail? Like, does that align with other beliefs that you hold? So, in order to break it down, if you believe that it is an actual human being, like from conception, which is obviously not the case, but let's say, I don't think anybody is that. But okay, let's, you know what, for the sake of argument, I mean, there are people that are religious and believe that, I guess. But that begs the question, what makes somebody human? What makes a person a person? Why are humans different from other animals? Well, there are a few answers to that. We have emotions. We're the most intelligent species. We're able to problem solve. We experience consciousness, I think, is the most important. We have emotions, and we are conscious and self-aware of our own. We are aware of our own existence. That is what I believe makes us human beings, right? So how does that apply to a fetus? Right? I mean, these are the main characteristics that define human beings. And a fetus that isn't conscious, has never experienced consciousness, hasn't contributed anything to the world, cannot, is functionally speaking, is an extension of the mother's body in the womb. It doesn't have its own mind. It doesn't think anything. It's not conscious, it doesn't experience anything. It is not a sentient life form, and it doesn't even start showing early signs of basic sentience until, I want to say, like, 17 to 20 weeks. Yeah, I think it's anywhere from 17 to 21 weeks, or something like that, or like 17 to 19 weeks within the pregnancy, where it starts showing basic signs of sentience. And actually, when I was looking this up, trash. What is trash? Me? I mean, yeah, I was only winning by 5 pots. I could have done better. But, to be fair, it was mid-fight. Or early/mid-fight. Whatever. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Let's focus. Let's focus on what is actually important here. Some of the early signs of sentience are actually in the fetus's brain. Like, I think it's like once you get to like the 25 or like 22 to 25 weeks, I think. I could be wrong on the actual numbers themselves, but roughly that sort of like area. Some of the early signs of sentience are actually the fetus's brain mirrors the mother's brain. So if the mother feels sad, the fetus feels sad, as in its brain experiences these same chemical reactions, is what I mean by that. That doesn't necessarily mean it's conscious or aware of its own existence. It just means that its brain produces the same chemical reactions as their mother's brain, which I think also indicates that it is not a person. It is clearly an extension of the woman, right? I mean, not only is it physically attached to the woman, but like, you know, if its brain is literally just the same as the mother's brain, in that it functions in unison, and which is really cool. I mean, I want to look up more shit about that, find more studies, but yeah, there were PET scans that were done to accomplish this. PET scans on both the mother and the fetus at the same time, and that's what they had found, is the same parts of the brain light up at exactly the same time. So, because of that, I think we can deduce that, no, the fetus in that situation is not human, in that it could become, I mean, sure, you could argue, well, it becomes human. And I don't mean human in the technical sense, I mean in the abstract philosophical sense. Because it is not an autonomous being. It doesn't have any self-awareness. It doesn't know it exists. I would argue, first of all, before the first 17 weeks in which there's no signs of sentience at all. Like, it has to be, at the very least, 17 weeks. That is the minimum in order for it to start showing signs of early signs of sentience. Like, it is comparable to a tree. I don't think that the whole, oh, well, it's living, and you're just killing a living creature, I don't think the, oh, well, you're killing a living creature argument works at all, because we already kill a lot of living creatures. We already do that. They're just not humans, right? The less sentient, whatever animal, or the less sentient a life form either is or appears to be, the less immoral we deem it to, you know, cause harm to them, to kill them, to use them for our own personal gain, right? But at the end of the day, like, you know, a fetus isn't any more sentient, within, let me clarify, a fetus within the first 17 weeks is literally not any more sentient than a fucking mosquito or, like, a tree. And, you know, I think it's quite ironic because, you know, these conservatives who will push for, anti-abortion legislation don't care about the environment. They're willing, oh, yeah, chopping down trees, I mean, like, it's good for society, so it's okay. Yet when abortions, which are morally the same thing, and benefit society by being available, which is proven by, you know, fucking, like, statistics, and, you know, like, okay, an obvious, like, okay, first of all, you have to address that there is gray area, right? I'm not gonna sit here and say, well, yeah, I think you should get, like, a last-second abortion, like, the day before you're about to give birth. I don't think that that is responsible. At that point, you've known you were pregnant for a long time. There is no logical... Yeah, I'm cheating, guys. InfOnlyU says, bro, I was literally not even paying attention to the fight. How am I cheating? Like, he should have four-potted me at the very least. Like, come on. I'm not even trying. Get the fuck out of here. Either that or he's joking. Where was I? I think understanding that there's gray area on both sides of the aisle is really important. Understanding, okay, there might be a situation where maybe it's not a smart idea to do an abortion in this situation. Just like it's not a smart idea to make it illegal for somebody to get an abortion in this other situation. Because guess what's gonna happen? Guess what's gonna happen, thanks to the whole Roe v. Wade shit. People aren't gonna stop getting abortions, they're just gonna stop getting safe abortions. That's the difference. Or, alternatively, they'll just cross state lines if they can afford to do so. But guess what? The people who can't afford to do so are the people that are the least fit to get an abortion, or to raise a child. Sorry, they're not fit. They're not in a place to create a child, okay? They are not ready. Okay, and I think, okay, let's say, oh, well, just don't have sex, bruh. Just be a celibate fucking loser that, okay, I'm not saying that being celibate in of itself is a bad thing. If you're asexual, I get it. That's fine. But, like, expecting anybody that, like, has some sort of sexuality to, you know, be fucking celibate when, like, that's obviously fucking miserable. Like, are you like, this isn't the fucking 18th century, okay? Or, like, you know, we have protection now, so it's like, the statistical likelihood of even getting pregnant in the first place when there's contraception is so low. Like, if you take all of the proper precautions, which conservatives don't actually want you to take, by the way, they think that sex ed is bad. So, they want, because, oh no, if you teach 7th graders sex ed, that's grooming. It's like, no, you're not grooming or sexualizing the children, as they like to say. By teaching them, like, basic, like, anatomy, teaching them, like, the risks, associated with unsafe sex, STDs that can be acquired, like, none of this is, like, a negative thing to be taught. Like, this is all good stuff that people should know. Like, teaching, oh, you should just don't have sex, bro. Like, no one's gonna listen to that. No, like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, no teenager is gonna listen to that. No grown adult, well, most grown adults aren't gonna listen to that, right? Okay, obviously, there's exceptions. I'm sure there's, like, 1 or 2 people out there that don't like sex, that'd be like, okay, yeah, fair enough. Or that don't care, or are indifferent, or they're incels who can't have sex anyway. But, like, I think that ultimately what it boils down to is conservatives are they're very they're pro-life until you're born. Then they're pro-death. Like once the fetus leaves the womb, well, fuck you. You don't get like health care or anything. Like you're on your own, buddy. And I think that it just goes to show they don't actually care about other people. Like the only reason that they push these certain narratives is because, one, they've been pushed for so long, so conservative voters buy into all of them. You know, they're gonna vote for what's comfortable to them, right? It's what they're already used to, first of all. Secondly, I mean, politics isn't about doing what's right for the country. We're long past that. It's, okay, you know, what can I do to get funding for my campaign? Okay, well, you know, let's say you're a conservative, right? Oh, well, it's important. You may not care that much about gun control or anything like that, but you're going to pretend to be very pro, or act very pro-gun, because it's like, well, I need to, you know, I want to get funding from you know, from fucking gun associations, right? So it's like, okay, it's shit like that where it's not authentic. And at the end of the day, that's why you don't see very many independents who successfully run. It's why you don't see them at all, actually, because they can't afford to have like an actual like successful campaign, like in general, right? So it's like, as a result of that, like, oh, well, they're screwed. And the politicians that succeed are the ones that are the most willing to compromise their morals, more often than not, as long as they are smart enough. I know you're cheating, lol, it's blatant. Oh wait, I can't. I'm fucking muted, I can't talk shit back. Oh well. Oh, maybe it's because he thinks I'm Android. Because I know, like, with, on the latest version, you can see what, device the person is on Zika, and, it says Android if you're connected through TDAC. That's probably why he thinks I'm cheating. He's like, there's no fucking way an Android shitter is this good. He's gotta be cheating. He's using, like, Reach or something. But I think that when it comes to, when it comes to these issues, like, the point isn't to do what's right. The point is to do what is successful, right? It's not about, it's no longer true, like, sure, there may be moral panics, and, you know, but, like, regardless of their validity, it's not because they care about morals, it's because they care about being successful as politicians. Okay, did this guy just toggle? He definitely did. There's no way he didn't. He definitely toggled. His hits were not registering like this before, okay? He definitely toggled some Reach, okay. Yeah, good one. Losing while cheating. It's kind of sad. Yikes. But I think that when it comes to propaganda like that, and the media and news outlets are constantly feeding the same shit over and over again, you are way more susceptible than you think. Even if you're one of those fucking, hold on, let me take a sip. Even if you're, like, a fucking centrist, right? Who's like, oh, I think both sides are equally shit, right? I think that both conservatives and, liberals and, or Republicans and Democrats, I think they're all shit, okay? They all suck. And that's the approach I used to take, but that doesn't make you any less susceptible to propaganda. And this is where not only do, like, dog whistles, come into play on, like, the far right, but, policies are pushed, that where the policies in a vacuum, with no historical context or context of where we're at as a country, in a vacuum, completely isolated, they will make statements where, yeah, in a vacuum, completely isolated, they are valid and technically correct, or just as valid as some other statement that's contradictory, right? But the problem is statements that are made that are correct in a vacuum don't account for the other ramifications that are associated with it. So, for instance, let's take systemic racism, for instance, right? There aren't any legal policies anymore that are in place to prevent, that are inherently racist, right? So we don't have that anymore, right? And generally speaking, like, there's not really any interpersonal racism either. Like, we're all fairly accepting of each other. However, as a result of redlining, what back from people way back when that were racist and were creating these racist policies back when it was still legal to do so, there was redlining where that took place, where, okay, now you have these they would push black people into these into certain areas in order to make it so, okay, well, we're gonna have these areas have a bunch of black people, we'll have these areas be everybody else, and we'll have the areas with a bunch of black people be really fucking poor, and let's just, basically just, make sure it's as shitty as possible, is really what it is. And then what becomes a result of that is you have this generational wealth gap, where it's like, okay, at this point in time, one argument you could make that I think, Femios, love or hate Tate, I'll talk about Andrew Tate in a minute, because I have some interesting opinions that aren't that strong, but interesting nonetheless. But when it comes to the issue right now, you could argue that, in a sense, the problem is no longer a problem of race, it's a problem of class. And by the way, I'm gonna bring up multiple arguments here that I don't think are, they contradict each other, they are multiple perspectives, but I think that they are just as valid, because I'm not even sure what I believe, because it's confusing, but, one argument is, okay, this is just entirely a class issue. Okay, like, I think we should just, so one approach would be, okay, let's just help people that are in, cities to begin with, most of whom just so happen to be black, or are disproportionately, so obviously it's disproportionate, right? And that's because of this generational wealth gap, because people are basically born, like, these people are born into poverty, right? And the only way for them to fucking survive and not starve to death is literally to sell drugs. There is no other way for them to get there's no other viable source of income. And to get out of there is fucking difficult. It's not like a matter of, oh, just pull yourself up from the pull yourself up from the bootstraps, bruh. Just work hard and study. It's like, well, first of all, they get shit education over there, because the schools aren't funded. Secondly, yeah, a lot of them are pulling themselves up from the bootstraps. The only way for them to do that is to do illegal shit. They don't do this for fun. But yeah, and then it just feeds into itself, and then, but another approach you could take is that, I guess, let's say there are racist people, right, that still want to push racist policies. Well, what they could do, and this is a little bit on the theoretical side, because we can only hypothesize what people's intentions are, because I don't think it's fair to accuse people of having bad intentions, right? But, you know, I think, fuck, where was I? They could disguise it as, oh, well, you know, this is just how I see the economy, and removing that social element. So, and maybe they create a policy that kind of screws over poor people. They're like, oh, well, now, but the goal, or the goal, quote unquote, is to, you know, lower taxes for middle class. That's how they might get votes, right? Because obviously, the idea of lowering taxes for the middle class, that's great. Yeah, that's a good thing, right? And it is, but if it's at the expense of poor people, right? And the reason why this is taking place is because of ulterior motives that aren't even economic, and it's like, well, black people are disproportionately poor. You know, one way to ensure that that it stays this way would be to push policies that make it more difficult for poor people to sort of like, you know, improve their lives, right? So at the end of the day, it's like this very complex like thing where it's like, do you take affirmative action to prevent at the very least a theoretical person who has enough power to create these policies and has malintent? Like, do we take affirmative action? Like, and I would argue, I don't know. I think that maybe to an extent, if it's like obvious, but like, again, like, I feel like there are necessary statistics that we don't have. Don't worry, I'm going to talk about Andrew Tate in a minute. For this, like, are these conservative politicians more likely to screw over poor people if the poor people are black than if they are white? Yeah, I'm gonna get to the whole Andrew Tate thing in a minute. Don't you worry. And it's like, how do you prove something like that? Well, you can't. Like, there's no way. Like, there is at least no ethical way to prove this. I don't even know if there's an unethical way to prove it. There's definitely not an ethical way to prove it. So it's like, what do you do, like, in a situation like that, right? And it's like, well, I don't know. So, like, I guess maybe seeing if their policy positions change when affirmative action is introduced might be a way to... But like, at the end of the day, it's like, I don't think... you know, from a more of a consequential point of view than a view based on intent, which I think is actually maybe a little bit better when it comes to actual, like, policies that you might want to advocate for, is, okay, does it matter the intent behind why they want to screw over poor people? Because at the end of the day, they shouldn't screw over poor people anyways, right? No matter what, that is bad. So I feel like, in general, maybe the approach that... Now, the more I think about it, the more I realize, okay, maybe the better approach to take that makes more sense today and is, like, less abstract and theoretical would be, rather than focusing on it as a race issue, even though it is an issue that was originally, like, caused by race... It's no longer, it's not still there just because of race. They're not, so, because it's this class issue, where, yeah, obviously you have a bunch of poor people. Like, it doesn't matter if they're black, white, Asian, whatever. You shouldn't want them to be poor no matter what. It doesn't matter who it affects. It matters that it affects this large group of people, regardless of who these people are. I mean, unless they're, like, I don't know, serial killers, in which case, well, maybe they deserve it. I don't know. Well, in that case, they just belong in prison or dead. But, I think that I think that at the end of the day, no matter what, like, I think looking at policy positions from more of a consequentialist point of view also, you know, can be helpful when it comes to finding things that are good in the long term. When it comes to, like, affirmative action with like, colleges, I think that is fucking stupid. I get why they do it. It's so that colleges can be like, look at how diverse we are, everybody. But I think that you know, theoretically, and I'm not saying that these are, like, that this is, like, a solvable issue right now, and the supposed changes that I'm proposing are more theoretical in terms of what would be the most morally justified. Assuming I'm God and I can do whatever I want and I can make the world however I want, it would be colleges can't know what your race is. And, oh, well, if they know what your name is, they know what your race is sometimes. Okay, well, they're not allowed to see the names either, and they see it as numbers. And they just see the, college application, and shit. And so, like, they're forced to not take race or gender or whatever into account, unless it's, like, unless, like, the person, like, I guess if the person, I guess if no, because would it then it would have to be enforced that, like, okay, but then the people filling out the applications wouldn't be allowed to say their race or gender or anything, which, you know, or if they did, then, oh, well, then you could argue, oh, well, the college didn't accept me because I'm black, or they didn't accept me because I included that I was gay in part of the application. I briefly mentioned, and it's like, okay, well, either way, like, there could be a potential lawsuit there, right? Whether or not they win the lawsuit, it's like, it's still expensive, and, like, I think that it becomes a complicated issue where, yes, theoretically, it would be nice to, like, get rid of that type of affirmative action. But it's difficult because, you know, like, how do you enforce that? Well, I don't know if there is a way to enforce that without being authoritarian, right? Because in a way, colleges are like, private businesses. Well, at least private colleges. Yeah. But I think, okay, well, why don't you just make it illegal in general to, like, you know, make these decisions based on race? Well, again, how do you enforce that? How do you know why they're making these decisions, right? And it's like, okay, and it's like, I feel like it can also go both ways, where it's like, okay, well, this is like a conservative college. I don't know why any minority would want to apply to it. If it's like a mega religious school with, like, a bunch of conservative Christian fundamentalists, because they'd probably share nothing in common other than maybe religion, I guess, kind of. But, like, if the person's religious but also a minority, but, like, I don't know. I think it all becomes so complicated where it's like, you can't just be like, oh, well, why don't they just make it illegal for colleges to decide to take race into account? It's like, how do you fucking prove? How do you know if they're taking race into account? Obviously they do, but it's like, where do you draw the line? Because there has to be some sort of arbitrary line, and it's, how do you measure that? How do you measure this arbitrary line that's basically invisible? And it's like, well, how do you? Because a lot of what goes into the getting accepted into colleges process in the first place is, how good is your application? Well, that's subjective. How good somebody's application is subjective to the fucking reader, right? They might try to make it as objective as possible, but it has to be at least subjective to some extent. But, you know, now whether or not it's right for colleges themselves to do this, I would argue no. They shouldn't do this. But there's no good way to enforce them not doing this. Thoughts on inflation? I haven't even gotten to Tate. Inflation is bad. Yeah, that's right. I said it. I said it. Inflation bad. Yeah, I know. Hot take, everyone. I don't think inflation is good. Andrew Tate is an interesting individual. Okay. I'm gonna give the cringy fucking centrist libertarian-esque opinion, which is I don't like Andrew Tate at all, but like he shouldn't have been banned. Like the grounds, like the reasons why he got banned were, I think they were like just really vague. So it was like they didn't give any specific examples of what he said, or if they did, it wasn't like any of like the really bad stuff he's okay. The main reason I dislike Andrew Tate isn't even because of like the shit he says for shock value. Like I know that's like his whole business model. Even if he's spreading like ideas that cause more harm than good, fine, whatever. I dislike him. The thing he should have gotten banned for was running pyramid schemes and promoting them on YouTube. I'm pretty sure he did that. Data. Like okay, I've been in therapy for a long time, right? And I will be honest, for the some like it's been a hit or miss. Like some of it has worked, like especially a lot of like the therapy I got like as an early child. Connection lost. Why? Why did I lose connection? Asshole. Fuck you. Fuck you, Zika. Okay, something tells me it's not gonna let me connect because it's full, and then it's gonna crash Minecraft. So you know what I'm gonna do? That's right, everybody. I'm gonna yeah, I'm gonna do the thing called turning it off and on again, and by that I mean TDAC. I'm gonna close TDAC. I don't think you can, because TDAC is a separate program, right? Let me just enable preview real quick. Yeah, it's only recording Minecraft. Okay, good. I would be mad if it wasn't. Not mad, but annoyed, because then I'd have to figure out why, and... Okay, anyways. Nope, that's the wrong... Oh, there it is. Okay, so I can type in... well, it does... Okay, whatever. You know what? Fair enough. You guys want to know what password I'm typing right now? You guys... Chat, you guys want to know? You curious? Oh, I haven't read chat in a while. Okay, shit. He was trying to say boxing. Yeah, I know. Oh, that was a while. Lyreos, hop on Antralia. Let's 1v-Q. Oh, 1v1. What server is this? Oh, Zika KK. What the fuck is this? Crab PvP. This man is actually Android. I don't know what Crab PvP is. Heaven and Hell. Oh, I was starting to talk about religion. That's right. What do you mean it's a part of human? Why isn't it a human? Oh, back to the abortion thing. Because what defines a human being? That's a genuine question that people think. From a philosophical standpoint, what makes us different, what makes us above other species, right? And I think we all kind of collectively agree on this, is our experiences, our emotions, the fact that we are conscious, aware of ourselves and our surroundings, the fact that we're conscious and we experience, and we can experience emotions, like genuine emotions, and we are aware of them. The fact that we genuinely feel things, not just like a simulation, like sort of shit. Like, okay, like I know like there's like scientific evidence that like mosquitoes or like insects don't actually feel anything. It's just all based on instinct. Yada yada yada. You get the whole picture, right? That's why we don't feel bad when we kill them, right? Because they're not conscious, right? They are technically living, just like a fetus. Same thing with a tree, but we don't feel bad when they die. When it comes to a fetus, it's not even sentient for at least the first 17 weeks of after conception. And even when it becomes, even when it changes a little bit and then starts showing early signs of sentience, it's early signs of sentience, like very basic shit. So like for instance, and I talked about this earlier, so I'm sorry for repeating myself for anybody that's already heard this, but the sentient, or the signs of early sentience, one of them, I think, was, they base this off of, PET scans. They look at the brain activity, in the fetus, and the first signs of sentience are the brain activity of the fetus mimics that of the mother herself. Now, what this means is that the fetus does not think independently. It doesn't really think at all. These are the mother's thoughts and emotions that are reflected by the fetus, but the fetus is not its own individual human being. Whether or not you wanna classify a fetus as a human, in quotation marks, like in a technical sense, I don't think they are, regardless. But from like a philosophical sense of what it means to be a human, a fetus is absolutely not a human. Now, I'm not gonna say that, oh well, it's like they're not human, but then like as soon as they pop out from the vagina, then they're human, and then like while it's in like the process, maybe they get stuck halfway, then they're like half human, like they have a human torso and head, but like not human legs. Obviously that's not okay, but I'm not advocating for having abortions like the day before you're about to give birth. I'm talking about like, because obviously by then you've had so much time really to be able to, experience, or not experience, sorry, to be able to sort of hit delay, only joining to say hey. Oh, sorry, I missed it. Hey, I guess. What the fuck happened to his hair? You mean like my haircut? I guess it was longer, yeah. Femboy mode, so real. The stream lag bro moment, okay, well, yeah, but you're supposed to see the long-term benefits. You're not getting any benefit from keeping a mosquito you annoy. But you can get benefits different way if you're keeping a fetus. That's the point. No one is forcing you to get an abortion. Yes, it can have benefits if you're actually trying to have a kid and you planned this pregnancy, or you want to keep the child. Abortion doesn't mean you have to get an abortion if you're pregnant. It means that you have the choice. And there are times where it negatively affects the mother way more than it positively affects her. Now, I have a couple controversial takes when it comes to how much say does the father have, that I don't think either side likes that much, and I'm still kind of iffy about them. But I believe that if the father, or the person who would be the father, unintentionally gets the mother pregnant, or like, let's say the mother is malicious and wants to baby trap the father, because this is really where this line of thought comes from, is baby trapping. I believe that the father, as long as some sort of like, I don't know, like paperwork is like officially signed, like, I do not consent to having this kid. I think that the mother, in that case, should be forced to either A, get an abortion, or B, keep the kid, but not get any child support. Because I don't think it's fair to the father to have the selfish, narcissistic piece of shit baby-trapping mother have, like, this kind of power that she doesn't deserve. So I think that, and I think that this is kind of a controversial take, even among, like, lefties. I don't think most lefties agree with me either. But I think from, like, a moral and utilitarian and logical point of view, it makes the most sense. So, in a way, pro-choice doesn't just apply to women. It applies equally to men. So this isn't something that just women should be caring about. You shouldn't just be like, well, I'm a man, it doesn't affect me. No, it affects you. If you're pro-life and you're anti-choice, guess what, motherfucker? There's a good chance you're gonna have to pay child support for 18 years of your life that you otherwise wouldn't have. Otherwise wouldn't have had to do. So, don't think that you're like, oh, well, this doesn't affect me, so I don't care. Whatever, dumb debate. No, it affects you. Affects you just almost as much. I'm not gonna say just as much, because obviously giving birth could maybe even be traumatizing depending on when you give birth, and you know, like if you're giving birth because you got pregnant after being raped or some shit, that's really fucking traumatizing. No one should have to go through that, okay? No one. Absolutely no one. Unless they want to, I guess. If they want to keep the kid for religious reasons, go for it. They can go for it. I don't care. That's their fucking prerogative. Like, what? Or if the mother, let's say, doesn't want to get an abortion, she should either, I forgot to add a third option, which is, you know, putting the kid up for adoption, right? And, you know, but at the end of the day, the father should not be obliged, to, you know, because the whole point of child support is the problem is the father, you know, sort of like pumping and dumping, come into the lady. I could have found a nicer way to say that, but that's what it is there to prevent. Like, maybe the father's like, yeah, give birth, I'll be here for you, and then, like, when the kid is, like, 0 or 1 years old, he's like, fuck this, and then the mother's on her own. That's the reason why child support exists. It doesn't exist to be, because, like, I don't think anybody benefits other than fucking shitty people, by having to apply when the father already chose to not have a kid before the kid is fucking born. Like, what sense does it make but yeah, I'm pro-choice for everybody, including men. That's my take. I know. So controversial, huh? I don't understand why it's controversial. Like, why do people, like, the whole point of the United States of America is that we have rights, okay? We have rights. And that includes the right to not be fucking stuck under the rule of a church state. That was one of the fucking reasons that people came here. Was because of fucking religious people forcing their beliefs onto other people. The same shit applies here. There's not a separation of church and state. And sure, you can lie and be like, well, it's not a religion. The secular argument is you're killing a human. But it's like, that's such a bad faith, dishonest, fucking disingenuous argument, where it's like, that's not what you actually believe. That's not the root of it. And it's like, well, you're allowed to think whatever you want. And it's like, well, yeah, no shit. But you're just using this to mask your actual reasoning, which is just religious. And I don't think that that's right. Even if you are religious and you believe that abortion is immoral, let's say you genuinely believe that, you do not have a right to dictate how other people live their lives. If other people don't believe in that, and they don't see eye to eye with you on religion, they have the fucking right to abort a non-sentient life form. I think that that's pretty fucking reasonable. It's not like people are getting abortions for fun, alright? It's, maybe they do, you know? I mean, me and my ex-girlfriend, you know... Okay. Are we back? Please tell me we're back. I really hope that it doesn't, like, turn off or whatever. Okay. think we're back. Sorry I haven't been playing. But sorry, I get really fucking invested in these philosophical debate. Okay? These are very important philosophical debate. Okay, I don't know. Oh yeah, that's right. I have to use TDAC anyway. You know what? Let's just play Zika.shit or Zaqueef, whatever you want to call it. Either one is valid. Lyreos, that's just someone giving advice to someone else for the better, and the one taking advice says, "I don't give a fuck. I want to live my own life." Yeah, I think that's valid. Like, you don't have to listen to advice, right? And that should apply legally. The government doesn't have the right to step in and tell people how to live their lives, how to have children or not have children. The government does not have a right to tell them what religion to believe or dictate what religious beliefs apply legally. And that's why the whole Roe v. Wade thing is, I mean, maybe not in a technical sense unconstitutional, but the fundamental idea of banning abortion is unconstitutional. It's literally not constitutional. It goes against what the founding fathers intended, okay? And, well, I guess they didn't want women to have rights. It's better for you. What do you mean, pass on advice? I'm not saying you should get an abortion. I'm saying you should have the option to get an abortion, and I gave reasons as to why someone might want to. Because not everybody is a fucking religious nutjob who wants to have a fucking, triplets when they are 15 years old, and fucking poor as shit, if they're dirt poor. You know, not everyone wants to do that. Or what if a 13-year-old is raped? Then what? Does she not have the right? Like, where do you draw the line? I think that... And I don't care if it's controversial considering religion. I don't give a fuck about your religion. Your religion should have no bearing on what I have the right to do or what women have the right to do. That's fucking stupid. Go if that's how you want to live your life, go fucking move to Islam. Go move to an Islamic state. Sorry, I'm bad with grammar today. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's my point. I think maybe we're just semantically disagreeing, if anything. I think I was just misunderstanding what you were saying. But yeah, I think from a legal standpoint, it is a right that needs to be protected. In the libertarian approach, quote-unquote libertarian approach, of, well, the states have the rights to decide, is fucking authoritarian. They just pretend it's libertarian. It's like, yeah, it's at the expense of people's rights. Like, you're putting state rights over people's rights. Do you not see why that's fundamentally flawed? Like, come on. Like, people that argue that are fucking stupid. No, I'm talking to you regarding, about the government forcing beliefs regarding religious beliefs. Well, in a way, the reason why, abortion would even be illegal in the first place is because of religious beliefs. But because there is no good secular argument for why you should not be able to have an abortion within the first 17 weeks of a pregnancy. That's fucking stupid. There is no logical, scientific argument that applies with obvious philosophy that most of society agrees with, that the founding fathers fucking agree with. So, no, it's okay. It's okay, man. I don't expect you to, like, be articulate. If you're speaking a second language, that is A-okay. Like, you're not obligated to be good at speaking a second language. And obviously, I should probably be more patient with that. Because I read it in my own voice. I read it in my American accent. So I don't think of it as, like, a second language. I'm just like, oh, yeah, he's saying stuff. Which I think maybe you should take as a compliment, if anything. The fact that I don't notice the fact that it's your second language, for the most part. Obviously, I notice some grammar mistakes, but it's like, okay. Like, I get what you're saying. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, okay. Anyways, my point being, if there is no good, like, logical secular argument for why something shouldn't be a right, then it should be a right. Like I don't give a like, again, if you don't want to live somewhere where women have the right to choose what they do with their own body, go move to fucking Kabul, Afghanistan. Like, that, they love that shit over there. They love oppressing women. So if that's what you like, then go over there. I mean, you don't have to, I mean, live in the fucking United States forever. It's like, I mean, hey, it's weird how, like, conservatives are, like, so quick to, like, jump the gun on, like, hating against Islamic people when Islamic fundamentalists are basically the fucking exact same people as Christian fundamentalists. The only difference is their religion has a slightly different aesthetic and they're brown. That's literally it. That's the only fucking difference. And the fact that they hate each other is fucking hilarious. And I'm not talking about, like, Islam in general. Like, obviously, like, non-radical Islam is fair. Like, same with, like, non-radical Christianity. If you believe in a god or you believe in Allah, fucking more fucking power to you. If it's just, like, a way for you to, like, feel safe, or, like, if it gives you purpose, it gives you a sense of morale, it gives you a reason to be nice to people and follow into Jesus's footsteps or whatever, and provide for the world. Fucking based. Like, I support that. Like, I may not, like, intellectually agree with, like, the reasoning behind it, but I don't care. Like, from, like, whatever your intent is, if you're doing good shit, I don't care what your intent is. So, being religious in of itself is fine, because you can be religious without being a shitty person. But if you are a shitty person because of your religion, then I'm going to start to criticize your religion itself, because if I don't criticize those religious beliefs, then because they are used as sort of like the foundation for promoting harmful beliefs, then how do I challenge those harmful beliefs? Well, I can't, because religion isn't a logic-based belief system, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it is a faith-based belief system. That is the point of religion, actually. Religion wouldn't work without faith, right? So, because it is a faith-based belief system, you can use it to push whatever fucking narrative you want. So if you're pushing a good narrative and you're Christian, Muslim, or maybe you're like me and you worship the flying spaghetti monster, as long as you're benefiting society and promoting good beliefs or no beliefs at all or whatever, and not trying to rule over society with an iron fist or whatever, as long as you're not authoritarian, basically, or, like, dumb, it's like, yeah, I'm indifferent. Like, believe whatever you want, man. Like, but, and I feel like this gets into a lot of, actually, the leader of Afghanistan is a strict Muslim leader and enforces Islamic beliefs, which are optional as well, which is why people like women are oppressed. Yes, but it's not just about the means by which they are using this fucking oppression, right? It doesn't matter how they achieve oppression, it's still oppression. And I mean, unless you can provide me with a good secular argument for why having an abortion is wrong within the first 17 weeks of a pregnancy, which you can't, there's no such thing as a good argument that isn't religious, which isn't a good argument for the legality or whether or not it should be legal. Maybe you could make a moral argument, like, within the church and be like, hey, fellow churchgoers, don't get an abortion. That is bad. And it's like, okay, y'all want to congregate and believe that amongst yourselves, go for it. I don't give a shit. You have the God-given right, let's just say, to do that. I personally don't believe it's God-given, but I don't care. It doesn't matter where it comes from. You have the right to do it, okay? You have the constitutional right, the God-given right, whatever you want to call it, okay? But I don't think that should impact, that should have no, that should have no impact whatsoever, consequentially, on the rest of society, specifically towards people who don't want to be impacted by it. Okay? If a woman is an atheist, and she gets pregnant, and it's going to fuck up the rest of her life if she has this kid, or maybe she just doesn't even want to fucking experience the pain of giving birth. That is a completely valid, or she just doesn't want the fucking kid, no matter what the reason is. She is well within her rights to, for whatever reason, get a fucking abortion. Because, you know, because it is not, there is no, objectively measurable reason for how it causes harm to society. And if there's not a good reason for you to not be able to do something, then you should have the right to do it. Like, this is just basic fucking, like, these are, like, the most basic axiomatic principles. Where if you're going to abide by these axiomatic principles, you can't then go on to say, well, but, like, they only, like, apply, like, here and here. And, like, it's like, abortion's bad because, because killing humans, because they're totally humans and totally sentient, and totally worth more than like, a tree or, like, a mosquito. But at the end of the day, like, I just don't understand why, what, like, there's no solid secular argument, therefore it should not be enforced, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you get the point, okay? And it's like these anti-freedom people who pretend like, oh, yeah, the conservative party is all about, like, freedom and freedom of speech. No, they're not. They're just as fucking bad as, like, the hardcore SJWs from, like, 2016. They're more extreme than that now. Just on the other side of the aisle. They don't care about freedom. They care about, repressing freedom. Because these are repressive people. They're not good. They just want people to be forced to live a certain way. Like, and the great thing about freedom is, you know what you can do with freedom? Is you can create, like, smaller, groups, congregations, if you will, of people who maybe think the same way. And you guys can decide amongst yourselves that you guys don't like abortions, and that you guys aren't gonna get them. Fine. I don't care. That could be, like, a rule at the church. That's not, like, legally enforceable, but maybe, oh, you get kicked out of the church or some shit if you have an abortion. I don't care. Whatever. Fucking do whatever you want in like, a non-legal context. Like, or, like, a non-legally enforced context. I don't care. Unless it's like, oh, you're forcing your kid to not get an abortion. That's fucked up. If your 13-year-old got raped by her uncle or some shit, and you're forcing her, or just got pregnant in general, and you're forcing her to give birth, that's fucked up. You're a bad person if that's what you would do. Regardless of what your religious beliefs are. Like, you're just a bad person at that point. You have no empathy, no compassion whatsoever. Optional Islamic belief, meaning the, like, things that are your choice are basically forced on you. I get what you're saying, but it's not about whether you're forced to believe something. It's that policy positions are being made based on religious beliefs. That goes against the very nature of the Constitution. Like, that's the whole fucking point of the Constitution. They're not forcing people to believe anything. Yeah, no shit. You can't truly force anybody to believe something. You can pressure, you can make it, you can influence people, but you can't force anybody to truly believe anything. So that's not the fucking point. The point is, because this is a policy that it is based entirely on religion, it should not be legally enforced. It goes against the Constitution. Conservatives love to talk about how pro-American they are the most anti-American motherfuckers. I'm pro-American. I believe in rights. Because I'm like an actual fucking patriot who loves this country and wants the best for it. Yeah, it has its flaws. But I wouldn't I wouldn't even bother criticizing this country as much as I do if I didn't care about it, right? Like, the reason a lot of people hate America is actually because they love it. I know, crazy. It's like, it's, you know, like, sometimes the things you hate the most are also the things you love the most. And I can relate to that. It's like I have a love-hate relationship with this country. It's like, oh my god. The fucking flaws that it has. It's like, but it's like overall, it's like as a concept a great country, okay? I don't understand why, like, why people are like, I feel like it's this sort of like bias where it's like, well, the other country over here is doing this one thing better, and it's like, yeah, that's great, but here's something in this country that you currently live in that you don't even notice because you take it for granted, and it's like, yeah, you have rights here, and you can do this thing and that thing, and it's like, yeah, but like, they have better healthcare over there. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, the country's flawed. No shit. Every country is flawed. I would say this is one of the this country has one of the strongest foundations. But yeah, it's gonna be flawed. There's so many flaws. Politicians are super mega corrupt in this country. But it's because I love this country that I don't want them to be. I want to have better politicians. I want things to change to make it because it benefits the country, right? I'm sorry for getting too much into politics. Like, I obviously care. I care about the well-being of people, of people's freedom, of, you know, I think I'm gonna take my fucking hoodie off, because, man, I'm getting dehydrated, man. I'm tired. You know what? Maybe I want to eat a snack on stream. Who knows? I haven't been PvPing that much. Yeah, whatever. Wait, I think I'm on NA6. Actually, wait, what region am I even in right now? I genuinely don't know. NA6, and then I'm gonna change the pinned message to server Zika.net NA6 my IGN equals Theseus. Okay, and then I'm gonna replace pinned message. Yes, there we go. Much better. Alright. Now people can stream snipe me. God, I'm fucking stupid. Then again, I wasn't even PvPing for a while, because I'm getting to the point where I'm, like, getting tired of talking, so I might decide, well, you know, I was getting, too much politics. Let's not talk about politics. If we talk about philosophy, we're not gonna talk about the fucking philosophy that gets into politics, alright? Yeah, politics cringe, okay? Me no likey politics. It's weird because the one more thing I'm gonna say. You know what? Fuck it. One more thing, okay? I can't. Thoughts on Sneako. I think Sneako is belongs in an insane asylum. I don't think he should have gotten banned. I think that's stupid. It's like, I'm not gonna say it, you know, like, I can't control, obviously I can't control what YouTube does. They can ban whoever they want. I don't think it's morally correct, for them to, you know, just deplatform everybody willy-nilly. But similar to how Andrew Tate was banned, and I'm not on board with that, or at least not on board with the reasoning why he was banned. I'm also not, dude, I'm giving my thoughts on Sneako. Your stream is delayed or something, okay? I'm talking about him right now. I don't think that he deserves to get banned. I do, however, think that he went from one of, like, the most... You kept fucking spamming it! You're like, Lyreos, thoughts on Sneako. Thoughts on Sneako. Thoughts on Sneako. While I'm, like, in the middle of talking about Sneako. Whatever. I don't care. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. I don't hold it against you. It's okay. We all make mistakes. It's probably stream lag, okay? Anyways. Sneako, he's smart in some ways. I will say he is very capable of being smart, okay? Like, cognitively speaking, like, he's intelligent, okay? But it's just his fucking ego, man. He's like Waro, where, like, he starts out as, like, chill, and then, like, his ego just fucking explodes out of nowhere. Yeah, honestly, now that I think of it, Sneako is, like, fucking comparable to, like, Waro at one point, when Waro was, like, being a dick to everybody. That's literally what it reminds me of, now that I think of it, in a fucking MCPE context. That's literally what it's like, where it's like, yeah, smart dude, but, like, come on, like, tone down the ego a little bit, like, it's okay, man, we all get carried away sometimes, but, like, you know, it's okay, happens to the best of us. So, like, I'm hesitant to say that Sneako is, like, a bad person. I just think he's delusional. But, I mean, yeah, it's, like, a lot of delusional people can still be smart, but still delusional nonetheless. It's like, yeah, you're talented at academics, you have a high SAT score, that's great. But, like, if you are, like, insane, and, like, if you're clinically insane, and, like, you're, like, I don't know, like, you say, like, dumb shit all the time, and, like, you have, like, all of, like, the worst takes, like, imaginable, then, like, okay, yeah, you're smart, kind of, but, like, also you're dumb. Like, I don't think that being dumb has to necessarily mean you're dumb in every regard. Same thing with being smart. I would say Sneako is smart and dumb at the same... I'm dumb and smart at the same time. Like, this is something I've thought about. Like, in many regards, I'd say I'm, like, smart. I'm able to think about things very logically. I'm able to fucking, he's not delusional. How is he not delusional? Have you seen him debate Hunter Avalon? Dude, his entire argument against Hunter Avalon was, study's bad and don't mean anything. Here is anecdotal evidence with an N value of 1 instead of an N value of fucking 3,000 or whatever the fucking, thing was. Like, bro, like, like, okay, maybe that could be an argument for why he's shit at debate, I guess. Maybe he just misspoke. He's just not articulate, but he's, like, not a dumbass, whatever. But, I mean, being articulate is part of intelligence. Like, it is a form of it. Because you can be the most intelligent person in the world on the inside, but if you can't articulate that to the world, then you're no different for someone who, than from an outside perspective, let's just say. You're no different from someone who has no understanding of anything, if you can't articulate anything. No matter how much you're able to think, if you're not able to communicate on the same wavelength. Oh god, I'm using their fucking terminology now. Oh my god. But like, it illustrates my point. You get what I'm saying. But if you don't think that Sneako is clinically insane, go watch his debate with Hunter Avalon. Hunter Avalon just fucking destroys him. No, he's not. I'm smarter than Sneako. Are you fucking kidding me? Dude, even I'm smarter than Sneako. I have more consistent fucking... Dude, Sneako is everything he used to hate. Sneako used to be smart. I used to like, I remember discovering Sneako and being like, yo, these videos are fire, man. Like, he's funny, like, he's really introspective, he's smart, he's self-aware. He was so self-aware before. He used to be so fucking self-aware. And I kind of saw myself in him a little bit, and that, like, not many people, like, spend that much time, like, thinking introspectively about themselves, thinking, hey, why do I think this way? Why do I feel this way about X, Y, and or Z? Why does my logic of this apply to this? A bot? How would I be a bot? Like, maybe it, like, PvP, if I'm, like, zoning out, but, if I'm actually trying to think about stuff, or when it comes to my opinions, no, I'm not a bot. I don't just fucking look at what the fucking crowd is doing and be like, oh, well, other people say this is right, so it must be correct, LOL. Like, that's not what I do. No, I think about things starting from the most basic axiomatic level, where I establish these fundamental, like, principles that only benefit society. Says the same stuff for years now. Very intelligence. Okay. I can't tell if you're trolling. Are you here to troll me, or are you genuinely, like, trying to tell me that someone who thinks that all studies and are bullshit and fuck actual research and my anecdotal evidence should be applied to everybody type shit? Like, do you seriously think that is smart? Okay, maybe your argument is, oh, well, no, he's just pretending to be dumb. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Maybe he's just smart and a bad person, who's not being honest with his audience, but, I mean, that's the only situation in which I see he is smart. Would Sneako say I'm a bot? I mean, based on the fact that I don't like him, I'm sure he would, but I don't know. You tell me. You probably know more about him than me. I'll give you that, because you probably are a big old Sneako fan / supporter. Okay, you're not trolling? Alright, I'll take your word for it. Because no matter what, it still, proposes an interesting discussion for me to talk about. When it comes to... Okay. I think that Sneako, from, like, before he got into all this fucking, like, manosphere shit, I think that version of Sneako would fucking, like, love me, alright? Because, like, we would get along, we would have a lot in common, a lot of the same, like, ideas, opinions, because I remember actually, I on one commentary video I did, someone told me that I, like, reminded them of somebody named Sneako, and that it was, like, scarily similar. I didn't know who the fuck Sneako was at the time. I'm like, who's this Sneako guy? Well, me being the absolute fucking narcissist I am, I have to look him up. Who am I being compared to? I look him up, and I'm like, damn, okay, like, holy shit. The guy who was saying stuff about happy wasn't happy, so he didn't happy? Okay, at this point, I personally believe you're just trolling, but I'm gonna, for the sake of argument, because it's an interesting discussion, I'm just gonna pretend like you're coming here wanting to have a good faith discussion. So, as a result of this, this revelation that you're here to not troll and have a very good faith discussion, maybe you are, maybe your grammar just isn't grammaring today, maybe that's the real issue, but, the guy who was saying stuff about happy wasn't happy, so he didn't happy. I think what you're trying to say is, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but you're saying, the grammatically correct version of what you're saying is that he was saying stuff about being happy when he wasn't happy, and that now that he's saying some new stuff that makes him happier, that must mean he's correct. The issue I have with that line of... Okay, alright, fair enough. If Bromoant? I'm not trolling? I don't... Bromoant. What is bromoent? Okay, you know what? I get what. Okay, I understand what you're trying to say here. Even though I don't know what the fuck that word is supposed to be. But okay, now I'm being a little bit bad faith by being obtuse and pretending to not understand you. Okay. Okay. Actually. All right. I think that just because somebody may present as happier does not necessarily mean that they are being authentic or honest. Because the reason why he may seem happier or like appear more confident is not because he's genuinely more happy. It's because he's repressive. It's this thing called forced positivity where it may seem like he's more well, he's not even positive. He's kind of a dick. But like this like sort of like ignore all your emotions mentality, like you may it's going to impede on your fucking introspective abilities because you're not going to be able to distinguish. Bra moment. Okay, yeah. You're not going to be able to distinguish, like, whether or not, am I repressing my emotions and still having them subconsciously, or are they just gone? Because it's easy to fall into the trap of, well, if you just pretend like your depression isn't there, then it's not really there. But that's not how it works. It's because I've tried that. And I don't mean a half-assed attempt or not trying it for long enough. No. I've tried it and tried it over the span of multiple fucking years. Multiple years. And guess what? It didn't do shit. You know what it led to? It led to me convincing myself, I'm totally happier now. But you know what? I was fucking depressed. I was lonelier than I had ever been. I was emotionally closed off. It just made me fucking miserable. And you know what it led to every single time? A fucking existential crisis. He was on... Well, okay, but just because he was on antidepressant... Just because he was on antidepressants doesn't mean that antidepressants are bad. It means that he was on the wrong antidepressants for the way his brain and body are wired. Okay? Yeah. There are going to be antidepressants that work for some people, but not others. That is a fact. For instance, I think it was, Prozac that I took at one point. It basically just made me a fucking sociopath. I'm not even gonna lie. I was an awful person when I was on that. I did not have, like, any emotion. So yes, it can have side effects. I agree. But it's not because Prozac is bad. Prozac has done fucking wonders for so many people. No, not having emotions is not good, okay? It is bad. Okay, I used to think that it was good. And you know what? You want to know what it led me to? It led me to being a selfish piece of shit that took enjoyment out of hurting others. And I am, like, looking back now, I'm fucking disgusted when I think about what my thought process used to be and how I was indifferent to the well-being of anyone that wasn't myself. Because that's what being emotionless is. You think you don't want... And it was weird because on the inside there really were emotions, but they were being suppressed so badly, and it was like it took other people telling me that I had changed for the worse, and that they were worried about me, and that they cared, but that I had become kind of a terrible person for me to just have this internal battle and then finally realize, yeah, this is fucked up. And but the fact that I had to convince myself to have emotions in order to convince myself to get off the Prozac, once I realized, even when I had no emotions, it wasn't pleasant. It's just, I'm neutral all the time, or like mildly annoyed. That was all I felt. Was neutral or mildly annoyed. I didn't feel anything good either. So, as a result of that, you want to know what fucking happened? I realized after that being emotionless is just as fucking bad. But not only is it just as bad, it's fucking dangerous to society. I was a genuine threat to society at the time. And I think a part of the problem there was okay, was poor a masculine trait. Well, I don't know, hold on. Let's, yeah. I don't know about you, but, let's make the camera a little bit bigger. Alright, let's see here. But, I'm not a very masculine person, okay? Look at what I'm wearing, okay? Ah, shit. My fucking phone fell on the floor. I'm not a masculine person, nor do I claim to be. But you don't think with emotions, you think with smartness? Yeah, I already do that. And I'm fucking miserable. I think only rationally, and I disregard my own emotions. At least up until kind of recently. And recently, guess what? I've been happier because I've gotten this thing called therapy. And you know what? Group therapy has fucking helped me, and I am way fucking happier now. Way less miserable. And I see way more meaning to life now than I did before when I was thinking with smartness. Like the way you like to say it. Like, no. As someone who is naturally repressive, it's not a good characteristic. Me and my dad both are very naturally repressive. And he naturally leans towards the physical and mental embodiment of what Andrew Tate, Sneako, and all these other motherfuckers in the manosphere promote. So was I for a long period of time. You want to know what the result of it was? I was a shitty person. And you want to know why you need to have what is called a wise mind, where you have a good balance of emotions and rationality, and not just one or the other. It's because, okay, you may think that, oh, it's only bad. Emotions are bad because if you only think emotionally, then it's going to cause you to make bad decisions because you're not thinking with your brain, right? You only think with your heart. That's bad. And, okay, that might seem like it's correct. However, only thinking with rationality, or with your rationale, and not actually caring about your own emotions, the reason that that's just as bad is because then you have absolutely zero fucking drive to do anything in life. Because I rationally came to the conclusion that, well, if I feel like shit no matter what, and if my emotions are worthless, and if I'm worthless, and if at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I do, and no matter what, these chemical reactions that occur within my brain are gonna make me feel like shit. If no matter what, if I'm gonna be miserable, then what's the fucking point of even trying? And in a vacuum, those fucking ideas are correct. In a vacuum, if you remove all context of what actually makes somebody feel good, yeah. The best therapy is delayed gratification. Andrew Tate says therapy is bad. Yeah, because Andrew Tate pushes ideas that are fucking retarded. And many push-up. Yeah, guess what? When I was a sophomore in high school, I could do 50 push-ups in a row. And I don't mean like woman push-ups where I'm on my knees. I would probably be more likely to do that now, just for shits and giggles. But, no, I mean like full push-ups, like all the way down, like nose touching the floor type of push-ups. Yeah, I could do 50 of those in a row. And guess what? Even though I was a swimmer and I fucking exercised 4 hours a day, yes, I genuinely did that when I was a swimmer. I was in the pool for 4 fucking hours a day. And you know what? I was fucking miserable. You know why? Because I didn't give a shit about my own emotions. If you don't give a shit about your own emotions, it doesn't make your emotions go away. It just fucking makes them subconscious emotions instead of you may not feel them consciously all the time, but you feel them subconsciously. And when you feel shit subconsciously, you feel like shit. This is why even when people with trauma have the defense mechanism, the inherent defense mechanism of not even remembering the traumatic experience that they've had, like that's something that people genuinely go through. It still fucking affects them. There are PET scans that fucking prove this. This isn't just like some like pseudoscience bullshit like what Andrew Tate fucking promotes. Like, oh, just go to the gym, bruh. uh, or just be more happy, LOL. Just don't be depressed, bruh. Like, none of this advice actually works for people that are depressed. Sure, maybe there are people that are, like, lazy, and it's like, I don't know, like, they just, like, feel neutral, kind of, and it's like, and they don't really think about it. They don't use either their emotions or their rationality. Like, then sure. But if you're already using your rationality and you're rational and you're feeling like shit, like, there's still a fucking problem. But guess what? I am more emotional now than I am more vulnerable now than I have been in fucking years, man. Fucking years. No, it doesn't. Because that's what I was looking for, was the delayed accumulated gratification. But I didn't get that. I just felt like shit all the time. And this happened for years. Years of me being a fucking hardcore athlete, okay? I know I may not look very big. I know, I'm 5'6", skinny as fuck. But you don't need to be, like, muscular to be good at swimming. And I am, or at least was, way stronger than I looked back then, too. No. It's not just about delayed gratification. Yes, it's important to acknowledge that you should strive for delayed gratification. Also, you cannot be live in sadness and think happy. No, that's not how it works. It's not a matter of what you're thinking. Emotions are chemical reactions that occur within your brain, whether you like it or not. Sure, your thoughts can fucking influence how you feel. I mean, that's why therapy exists. But it's not just about introspection. Because I was everything that people like Andrew Tate and fucking Sneako promote. I was naturally like that, okay? And it's because I'm wired differently. And I have repressive tendencies. But I was one of the least happy I'm still working on my shit. But, like, and part of it is because I have ADHD, mixed with depression, and it's like mixing, like, gas, oil, and lighter fluid and water, and it's just like a million different substances that don't go together. Don't do instant don't go for instant gratification. Yeah, you think I haven't tried going for long-term gratification? You think I hadn't tried that? You think I just went for years without even considering avoiding instant gratification? You really think that? No, it didn't work. It made me feel worse. Instant gratification didn't make me feel better either, but it made me feel better in the moment, at least. So, accumulatively speaking, because it ended up making... I don't think it made a difference, really, because I felt like shit no matter what. But, the problem is not that I was not emotionally repressive enough. Me, at my most emotionally repressive point in life, I was a genuine danger to society. I don't think you understand. Like, at that time, if it benefited me, I don't know if I, like, and obviously I wouldn't have committed murder just because there would be no benefit. But hypothetically, if there was a murder that I could commit that benefited me in some way with no possible bad consequences, back then, I might have done it. I don't know. Like, obviously I wouldn't even fucking consider that now because I have emotions. But without emotions, you're just a fucking sociopath. But placebo works, and dude, don't fucking lecture me on placebo. I know how placebo works. You act like these aren't things I've thought of. Like, it's unfucking believable. No, I have tried placebo. I thought it was placebo at one point too. Oh, if I just change my thought process. That was the reason I had existential crises to begin with. Is it crises or crises? I don't know. But I had existential crises to change my mindset. I did the advice that fucking people like Andrew Tate promote without even realizing it. Like, that's the shit that they would do, right? I had them to think about, what is the best way I can become the strongest person? How do I reframe my mind? How do I have the best mindset that will make me the most intelligent, the most successful, the most funny, the most likable person? It doesn't work, though. It doesn't work like that. It's not as simple as you think. And you, from an outside perspective, may think that therapy is useless and that they're just going to tell you things they already know, but that couldn't be any further from the truth, because it's not just insight they provide you with. The therapy I'm doing right now, they already know that I'm fucking introspective and insightful. They already know that I'm self-aware. They're not teaching me self-awareness. Please, no. Okay. Is it working? Is it working? Am I alive? Is it the same stream? Please tell me the stream didn't end. Please fucking tell me the stream didn't end. Oh my god, I'm gonna be so annoyed if the stream ended. Okay, I don't think the stream ended. Yes, we're back. OBS crashed, but it didn't end the stream. Let's go. Holy shit. Oh, thank goodness. And it probably fixed the delay. Oh my god. Yes. Oh my god, I don't have to start another stream. Oh my god. Sorry for you guys having to wait. Okay. Who are you talking to? I'm talking to chat, which also includes Zika chat, which is on screen here. And then there's obviously the live chat. IDK Lyreos, it depends on the person. Many people feel great after going to the gym. Yes, going to the gym and doing exercises helps. That's scientifically proven. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it fixes things. You guys don't seem to understand. If you have no emotion, no bad. No. Yes, maybe this applies in an abstract, theoretical sense, but that's not how people's brains work. Even if you are the most emotionless fucking sociopath. I mean, even sociopaths and psychopaths feel emotions. But the difference is, when you suppress your emotions, the emotions don't go away. You can't actually control your emotions as much as you'd like to think. They just become subconscious emotions instead of conscious emotions. Andrew Tate made me do delayed gratification and strong. I'm glad for you. Good for you. That's great. I get that. I've already acknowledged that some of his advice is really good for some people. The thing I have an issue with is the fact that he thinks that it works for everybody and that is the only solution and that it will inevitably fix all the problems, but it won't. But you do not do crimes because you smartness and not bad not okay. No. Not if the crimes fucking benefit you. For instance, if you were to like steal money in a situation where you know you're not going to get caught, you would do that if you don't have any emotions. No emotions equals, well, why do I give a fuck about somebody else? So it's like, well, it benefits me. So the most logical thing to do there would be steal the money from the poor old lady, because nobody's gonna know. Because we're in a room with no cameras, and the old lady has dementia, okay? If I had no emotions, I would steal from the old lady, that has the purse, and dementia, and there's no cameras or witnesses, okay? I would do that if I had no emotion. The reason I wouldn't want to do that, but that's instant gratification, well, if you don't have emotions, what would the downside be? You only gain. The reason I don't do that is because I know I will feel bad if I do that. I would feel guilt, because I've done shitty things in the past, and guess what? I felt guilty afterwards. So, like, I learned quickly, oh, yeah, don't do this. Like, be a good person, like, do things, and I also learned, okay, if somebody else does something to me, I want to be consistent. And I get that it isn't as dichotomous as, oh, well, either you're just, like, completely emotionless, or you have all emotion, but that's the point I'm making. You need a combination of emotion and fucking rationality, okay? You can't just have one or the other. That is literally what wisdom is. You want to know why some old people, some old people are just angry and annoying. But there are old people that are, you want to know why old people are notoriously wise? It's because they're able to tap into both their rational mind and their emotional mind. That's why they give such good advice sometimes, is because that's what they're tapping into, because they have learned over the years through just sheer trial and error and experience that the best mindset to have is one that is wise, one that uses both, okay? That is the point. This is shit that I learn that I'm learning, or have learned in therapy even, to an extent, is no, don't, like, only being rational and putting your rationality first and your emotions second isn't good. Because, and at the end of the day, the best thing to do is have the emotions, acknowledge they exist, use your emotions to fuel your rationality and vice versa. No. You use your emotions to be kind, to care, to feel, but you don't make decisions with them. You use your emotions as sort of like a driving force, right? And like, as like your motive. And you use your rationality as a tool. Use it as a tool, not as the only part of your brain. It should be used in conjunction. Because if you don't have emotions, there is no point in existing. There is literally no point. If I don't feel anything, if everything is completely neutral, then I'm wasting effort by existing. Why even bother taking care of myself at that point? Because it doesn't matter. It's all inconsequential. But it's because of emotions, both negative and positive, that influence me, that influence you when you don't even realize it. Also, my cat's trying to get out. 1 second. He is meowing. I don't know if the mic picked it up. Yes, you can leave. Yes, you can go eat. Go eat. Go eat, Reese. Go, or take a shit. Whatever you need to do. Pee? Doors are gonna be closed though. Okay. Anyways, yeah, so basically, but delayed gratification. I shut no, stop with the whole delayed gratification thing. How can you feel gratification if you can't feel emotions? If you don't feel anything. That includes the delayed gratification you're talking about. No, you don't get any gratification if you don't feel shit. Like, what? Man. So, okay. Let's read chat on my phone. This is infuriating. Well, you gotta consider religion too? No, I don't. I don't give a fuck about religion. Like, if you believe in a god, cool, good for you. I don't give a shit. Like, but again, you can justify anything with religion because at the end of the day, it can mean fucking anything depending on how you interpret it. The Bible has been used to justify slavery. The Bible's also been used to justify the abolition of slavery. It's been used to justify fucking, like, violent behavior. It's been used to justify peaceful behavior that opposes the violent behavior. It's been used to justify fucking everything, okay? It doesn't matter what your religion is. And at the end of the day, there is no good reason, like, again, if you don't feel anything, then everything is inconsequential. Nothing matters. At all. So... Darman moment? I mean, okay. Okay, again. I think, okay, as cringe as Darman is, and as, like, dumb as his videos are, as over the top, and oftentimes questionable his titles and thumbnails are, as much as it's fun to shit on him, I genuinely believe Darman is a better influence on young people than fucking Andrew Tate or Sneako. I'm not even joking. I genuinely believe Darman gives better advice than fucking Sneako. I'm not even like exaggerating or like saying this for shits and giggles. No, I genuinely believe that. Oh man. Fuck. Me yelling into the abyss that is YouTube chat has fucking made my throat a little sore. I was talking about the situation you were talking about. You don't care about religion, but the majority does. Well, okay, I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter. Like, okay. But again, you can twist religion as much as you want. That's why radical Islam exists. It's literally in opposition to actual Islam. You want to know why it exists? Because it doesn't fucking matter. You can twist religion into whatever you fucking want and have it still technically abide by the religion because you changed a bunch of shit. Like, Andrew Tate is the best influence? No, he isn't. No. He teaches people, suppress your emotions, don't have any feelings. If you're a man, you're not allowed to have fun. Just like the only activities that you're allowed to do are lifting weights and mowing the lawn and making money. Those are the only things you can do. Don't play like video games or anything like relaxing. Never have any like fun or anything. That's like for pussies and women. Same thing if you're Andrew Tate. Those are harmful beliefs. Do you think that it would be good if let's say a woman or a female, followed the advice that Andrew Tate gives to males? How would you feel about that? Would you tell a woman to shut the fuck up and just man up and turn off her emotions and just suppress them? No, you wouldn't. Why? Because you see her as a human being with emotions. But men aren't any different. The only reason men are different is because of things we've arbitrarily constructed as a society based on shit that fucking doesn't even matter anymore. Like, the whole hunter-gathering thing only made sense because it was like, oh yeah, the women are pregnant and shit, and they need to take care of the kids, so they stay home. And the men, they go hunt because they don't get pregnant. It wasn't because, and obviously that also, and men being physically stronger, but that doesn't mean shit mentally. Obviously, there are differences in the brain, but not having emotions as a man is not one of them, okay? That is not something that, like, that is just not, it's factually incorrect. Science proves that it's factually incorrect. I don't give a shit what your religion says. Science says otherwise, okay? Science says that everybody has at least some amount of emotions, okay? That's just a fact. He talks about the gym because it makes you feel better. He never said, I know he never said to do it 24/7. You are, oh my god. You're not fucking listening. No. I agree that on its own, go to the gym more often if you don't go to the gym is good advice. I agree with that advice. And I actually would fucking say, yeah, that's a good thing Andrew Tate has promoted is, yeah, exercise. What I don't support is the whole, oh, mental health isn't real, fuck science and psychology and anything that's actually, like, statistically verifiable, because imagine having emotions, am I right? Like, just be neutral or miserable. The only, like, it's like, and again, suppressing your emotions doesn't actually get rid of them. It just makes them subconscious emotions, instead of conscious emotions, so they still affect you. So it's not that easy. Even when I was on Prozac, yeah, I was an emotionless monster. But again, the fact that I even made the decision to go off of Prozac, even though I knew I would feel more negative emotions than positive emotions if I did so, means that even with the most extreme, both intentional and unintentional ways of suppressing emotions, they still exist. Those subconscious emotions caused me to make the right decision there. It doesn't matter how much you suppress them. They're still there, and then they just fucking explode when you can't fucking suppress them anymore. You can't infinitely suppress emotions for an infinite amount of time. You can't do that. It's physically impossible. You're just going to be miserable if you do that. I guarantee it. No emotions is stoicism and it's masculine. I don't give a shit if society views it as why would it be bad for a man to be feminine in the first place? Again, masculinity is only determined by what society deems to be masculine. Okay, if you go back like 1,000 years, it's you want to know what the fucking back, I think it was like an ancient like Greece, or was it ancient Rome, or it was some fucking society where, and I'm not kidding when I say this. Yeah, dude, small penises used to be viewed as a masculine trait. And big penises used to be viewed as fucking barbaric, and you were viewed as dumber. I'm not even kidding. High heels used to be viewed as masculine. I mean, have you seen George Washington? I don't know. Maybe George Washington is actually a femboy. I mean, he's wearing thigh highs and skirts. He wears wigs. I mean, he's basically a femboy. High heels. Like, come on. You can't argue that George Washington isn't a femboy. But oh wait, the context of society around you kind of is what determines how it's perceived. It wasn't perceived as feminine back then. George Washington was perceived as manly. Like, come on. Like, this is... Okay, so has going to the gym helped you much? Yeah. Getting a good exercise made it less bad. It made it... But again, it didn't make me happy. It just made me slightly less miserable. It did something, kind of, but it was barely noticeable, and it might have just been placebo, to be honest. But when I was consistently working out, it didn't really do shit. I felt a little bit better afterwards, I think, but like, again, I still had depression. It didn't go away. It didn't just disappear. Okay, again, it's because maybe your brain is really simple. Who knows? But mine isn't. Because I'm actually a complex human being who has complex thoughts and emotions, it's not as simple as just go to the gym, bruh. Like, no, it's not that simple. That doesn't bring me genuine fucking happiness. It just makes me feel slightly better because of chemical reactions that occur within your brain and body, yada yada yada. Same thing with eating healthier. It's like, okay, yeah, obviously these things help. Sorry, FFS, I meant therapy. Right now society think masculine is bad, but that's dumb. I agree that is dumb. I don't think masculinity is bad. I think that it is completely okay that, and to answer your question, Tox, yes, therapy has helped me. Literally, one of the objective measurements for that is mood rating. Literally, at the start of every group therapy session, we do a mood rating, emotions. My mood rating was, like, usually anywhere from, like, a 35 to a 50. 50% being neutral, 100 being the best day ever, 0 being I'm killing myself today. It was usually anywhere from, like, a 30, 35 to 50, 55 on what would have been considered a good day. You want to know where I'm at now? I'm usually at, like a 60, to fucking 75, I think. Or was it 70? I don't remember. At the end of the day, I do feel better because I have made changes because of therapy. And it's not as simple as, like, just like giving me insight. Oh, I need to be more motivated. God, if only I had thought of that. Oh, thank God I have someone to tell me. No, that's like shitty advice Andrew Tate would give is just be more motivated, just do shit and be manly and stuff. It's like, no, okay, that doesn't do shit. That's the type of shitty advice that doesn't do anything for me. It's like, oh, wow, thanks, I did it. Because the easiest advice you can give is be more self-aware. That's literally the easiest, but maybe even laziest advice you can give someone. But it's not just self-awareness. I've been very self-aware. Like, it's not that I get out of it's not that I am unable to bring myself to get out of bed in the morning because I think that it is a good idea to sleep when I have things that need to get done. When I do it, guess what? I feel like shit about myself. But I feel like shit if I don't do that anyway. No matter what, I'm miserable. And I've experienced that. And that's been my general experience. I've been working on viewing things differently, on really trying to use certain skills. And one of the skills, literally, one of the skills that they advocate for, is this thing called seeds. And one of the E's stands for exercise. So it's not like they give bad advice. Some of the advice, the basic advice, that might show up. It's just, how do you convince yourself that it is worth the time and energy? Because most people are pretty, I would say, more self-aware than society views them as, because society doesn't know what they're thinking on the inside. But it's not about being self-aware. I've always been aware that my life is shit and that but it's like there is a strategic way to reframe mindset that goes beyond just be happier and go to the gym, bruh. It's like, that doesn't solve any of the underlying issues. You have to do things that are more indirect, that do solve the underlying issues, or at least address them. Or at least, obviously, it's not going to cure my depression, but it helps me manage it. This from Greek is like stoicism. There's a plain person who crashed and didn't need therapy. If you push up, you get a lot of happiness? Dude, gee, thanks, absurd mammal. I didn't realize. Oh, if only I had decided to work harder. Oh, man, I just didn't think of it. I never tried it. Oh, man, if only I had just thought, be happier. Oh, man, thanks for the amazing, revolutionary information. God, I wish I had thought of that sooner. Do you not realize how stupid this sounds? It's because it's dog shit advice. It's meaningless. Yeah, no shit. I would be happier if I could be happier. Why do you think I'm taking steps to become happier? Why do you think I'm going to therapy? You think it's because, oh yeah, therapy is like my favorite activity, and like I do it for fun. Well, I mean, sometimes it actually is kind of fun. It's a little bit interesting learning stuff. But let me give an example of something that therapy that took me a while to realize. A strategy they use very intentionally. So when we do process group, which is basically this isn't like the majority of the times. It's just like one day where for an hour, it's like what you would see in a stereotypical like group therapy session in like a movie or TV show or whatever, where basically we all just get together in a circle and talk about our feelings. And it actually is helpful. There's a rule. There's a couple of rules though for what you can and can't say. The first rule is you have to use I statements, not generalization, but talk about your own experience. The second is to not give advice. This isn't about giving advice. Well, me being the contrarian I am, it's like, well, there are some times where it's like, oh, okay, I gotta give them advice, right? But I can't directly tell them what my advice is and be like, well, you should do X, Y, and Z. Because then I would get cut off and be like, this isn't advice giving session. What I did instead was I rephrased it and was like, well, if I personally, I don't know, if I was in this situation, and or maybe if I was in this situation, talking about my own experience, if I was in this situation, what I would do is and then even though I'm giving them the same advice, it literally forces me to not be a fucking terrible person to myself. It is literally forcing me to have at least some amount of self-compassion. And it makes it obvious to myself, wait, I don't, like, obviously, even though I'm self-aware and know I don't follow my advice, it just makes it, like, so fucking apparent that it's not something I just brush to the side and be like, well, I have my own issues, and, like, I have higher standards for myself, which is good. Everyone should have, like, okay, I'm just avoiding shit, right, if I do that. But it's like, because I'm reframing it, I had to reframe it and make it about myself. And it's like, and it's like, it almost felt like I was lying about what I would actually do, in a sense. Until I realized, well, okay, wait, am I, if this almost feels like lying, why don't, if this is such good advice, or if this isn't advice worth following, why give it, right? But that's the point, is the structure is meant to to help guide you to come to that conclusion yourself. Okay? At first I thought I'm a genius. Well, not I'm a genius, the I'm a genius part, but I outsmarted the system. I found a loophole, a way to technically not give advice, while giving advice. But, like, there's a reason that they never cut me off. If they genuinely had, like, an issue with the advice giving, they would have cut me off, right? But they didn't. They never cut... They cut people off if they talked about broader society or said, well, I mean, maybe you should consider... No, like, you would get cut off. And, like, no, please stick to talking about yourself and your own experiences. And what this shows is it's created in a very strategic way where ultimately I thought that I was outsmarting the system. The system fucking outsmarted me. I thought, I found a loophole. No. The system found a loophole in contrarians like me, okay? Like, I'm a contrarian, I do the fucking opposite. I find loopholes for everything. That's fucking built into the system. And it took me a minute to realize what they were doing. So it's like, it's not just them giving me advice or me venting. And, well, sure, sometimes me venting can feel therapeutic. I have YouTube to do that, honestly. I don't need a place to vent. Anyways, I used to use therapy for that, and it didn't work. Because I had other issues that weren't being fixed. Even though it felt good in the moment to talk about how shitty my ex is, or whatever I was dealing with at the time. But again, it's not just, all they do is give you advice that you already know. No. That is an actual strategy. And when they talk about a bunch of different skills that are ultimately all intertwined with each other, they do it in a very logical way, and the goal isn't to force people to use them. It's more of make a genuine attempt to use them and catch yourself if you're not using them. Or here's an activity about mindfulness and it's like, okay, this could be helpful in a scenario where I'm feeling overwhelmed. And honestly, the reason I'm even motivated to fucking try uploading more to YouTube again, I genuinely am, and I've literally created like a fucking schedule for myself recently, is because it's not just about am I self-aware, because I've always been self-aware. It's I've created like I'm creating a strategy for myself. I'm not waiting for one to be given to me by school or whatever. Like I'm creating my own strategy by using these skills that are important. And it's like I'm able to better isolate different variables in my life. You know, and pay attention to one thing at a time. Like it's one thing to say pay attention to one thing at a time. It's another to give a bunch of roundabout skills that actually accomplish this. So I don't think you understand the actual nuance and complexity of what psychologists actually do. I don't think you realize why these people have to spend fucking years in school learning this shit. My mom is actually a psychologist herself. You think she just walked in one day and was like, "Yeah, I'd like to be a psychologist. I'm pretty good at giving advice." Fuck no. You have to, and it's not just learning basic ethical things like, oh yeah, obviously maintain confidentiality, blah blah blah. No. It's understanding what the actual psychological ramifications are that are both direct and indirect, because anything that occurs around you or within you is going to have a butterfly effect in your own brain. The way your brain works is not always direct. It is such a complex organ that it needs to be treated as such. Not as this basic, well, just go to the gym, bruh. Like, that's all you have to do. That's the only way to be happy in life, and if you go to the gym, you're definitely 100% guaranteed to be happy. It's like, no, you're not. It is statistically like more likely that you will be happy, but again. Now, I think I've made my point very clear. And I hope that people watching this, if they were on the fence or disagreed with me, are you know, beginning to understand what this actually is, what actually goes on in therapy. Because I think there are a lot of people who don't have any experience in therapy, don't know anything about it. All they've seen is shit on TV. Like, yeah, obviously, on TV, they're only going to give advice that everybody already knows. Why? Because the writers, while they're smart and have good introspection, at least a lot of them do, or have characters that have really good introspection. Just because they're smart like that does not mean, and I want to make this very clear, that they are actually giving real therapeutic advice/strategies, because it's not just advice. Therapy isn't advice giving and receiving, okay? That's not what it is. It would not require years and years of school. My mom would not have had to have spent so many years working her fucking ass off to do a job that she genuinely was passionate about and still is. That I don't know. I mean, well, at first, that for a long ass time was gonna pay less than what her current job was. But she hated her current job. It made her money, yeah. She was successful. But it didn't make her feel good. She wanted to do something that helped others, and yeah, maybe because she is kind of an emotional person. But she's still smart. And she's a good person. She has other people's best interest at heart. So, you know, it may seem illogical that, oh, well, you had this really good career and then you decided to waste, like what, I don't know, was it 4 years, 6 years, I don't know, all the, like fucking half a decade in grad school, you know, putting yourself in debt so that you can have a job that pays you less for at least the next 20 years of your life. And it's like, well, yeah, but like, what do you care more about, money or happiness? Is the real question. And if you ignore your emotions, then if she ignored her emotions, she'd be fucking miserable right now. I guarantee it. Maybe not right now, because she would probably have retired. But she loves her job, so she doesn't retire. Same with my dad. He's an engineer. So it's like, and it's like he has a different skill set. He's more like me, or the stereotypical man that you advocate, for having be the ideal. But that's like actually some of like my dad's flaws that he's actually worked on. Is, yeah, he was like a bit on the insensitive side at times. He was emotionally repressive. I think he still is, kind of, sometimes. But I think it ultimately just made him, like, constantly angry. And he took it out on, not physically, but emotionally took it out on me, verbally. And, it obviously, well, it hurt. He never had bad intentions. He was just emotionally repressive. But if you repress your emotions, they don't go away. Like I said, they just either show up differently, and just as negatively, or, they end up kind of fucking exploding. So it's like being, yeah. But therapy bad? Oh, come. I really hope Absurd Mammal was trolling. There's like a 50-50 chance that he was. But like, I'm not worried about like, oh no, I took the bait. Oh god, I did the, I wrote, or I guess in this case, delivered in the form of speech 25 paragraphs about therapy. Oh wow, he got me good, he just wasted my time. But it's like, no, this information is good anyway. It's a discussion that needs to be had. So regardless of his intentions, I think it brought up some very good points. Andrew Tate also says Hustlers University is good therapy. Oh, come on. Okay, that has to be a joke. Yeah, of course, no shit Andrew Tate is gonna say that, because it makes him money. Yeah, obviously. Therapy isn't bad, but might be time-wasting? Well, that's why you gotta find the right therapist, and you have to know what you want in therapy. You wanna know why therapy didn't work on me for a while? Because, one, I was a stubborn motherfucker, and I thought, oh, I'll just repress my emotions. Don't actually tell the therapist anything that I'm feeling. Just tell them, like, objective details. And because I was so, like, almost aggressive about it, like, it was like, what were they gonna do? It was like, they couldn't squeeze in advice, because every time they would give advice, I don't want to say get defensive, but, like, I would come up with a logical explanation for, oh, well, no, this is why I do this, and there's no illogical, or there's no logical fallacy at hand here, and it's like, well, yeah, again, like, this goes back to what I was saying before, about the whole, yeah, okay, yeah, what you're saying is right in a vacuum, but practically speaking, it negatively affects you, and it's like, okay, there's other options that are just as correct, but I didn't see that at the time. And again, yeah, therapy was a waste of my time when I was in therapy because my parents told me to do it. And encouraged it, and it was like, and yeah, it was like, they were like, you know, and like, it just became like a habit, and I'm like, well, I mean, I feel like shit all the time, so I want to continue with therapy. So I continued seeing therapists, but again, it didn't do shit, because I didn't know what I wanted. I just thought, oh, I just wanted to feel better, and I wanted, like, a fast, easy solution, like what Andrew Tate claims to have. But that doesn't exist. And this time going into therapy, I actually knew what I wanted to accomplish. I came into it with an open mind. I was willing to learn something new. I was willing to change my mind about something and realize that, yeah, I'm flawed. Even if even if I believe something that's technically correct, or at least technically correct in like a vacuum, it's like, one, should it, I think, is it maybe a better idea to not think about something like that might be distressing, even though it's like technically correct, and just like, I don't know, be a little bit more like positive with your self-talk, or, I mean, mainly my thought process going into it is like, what other choice do I have? Continue being a fucking failure? Continue like doing terrible in school because I can't fucking manage to convince myself to get out of fucking bed because it's so much easier to fucking sleep because then you don't feel anything if you're asleep, and you know, as soon as you're awake you feel like shit. And it's like, no, I don't want to have to deal with a fucking intolerable pain, okay? Like, so that's how I act. But I knew there was like, it's either fucking continue, you know, trying to be as self-aware as possible, and obviously self-awareness is a good skill, and assuming like that'll fix everything, and try and just reason your way through shit as by yourself with no fucking outside perspective to like talk to you about shit, or maybe give you different ideas, or reinforce certain ideas while dispelling others, or giving alternative ideas, because I've been doing the same. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Okay, I went what I like to call the Andrew Tate route. Just push through it, bruh. But ultimately, when I push through shit, it's like a pendulum, right? Because as soon as I'm so emotionless and only focusing on things that are rational, what am I doing? What am I working for if not happiness? If I get nothing out of it, it's a waste of effort. And again, that's why it's cyclical. That's why I have a tendency to work really, really fucking hard sometimes and have this absurdly good attention to detail, while being absolutely fucking absurdly lazy and not giving a shit other times. But like, that's the point of what wise mind is this in-between stage, because to ignore that would just be creating a false dichotomy, which I think a lot of people do. It's not either emotions or rationality. These two things are not mutually exclusive, and I want to make that very clear. Alright, I had a fun talk. Gotta go now. It's late as fuck. Goodbye. Alright, I will see you in a future live stream, maybe. I don't know. Future video? Future whatever. I'm also getting tired. You know? It's, I've been streaming for a long time. And I'm sure the viewers are getting a little bit tired. I started streaming, what was it? 3 fucking hours ago? 3 hours ago? Yeah. Yeah, I think that because I started streaming 3 hours ago, I'm tired, my voice is tired, I'm getting uncreative, rambly and annoying, kind of, maybe, hopefully not, and, for those of you who are watching this as like an unlisted live stream / podcast / whatever, let me know if I got a little bit too rambly. For those of you who listen to this as a podcast, because I feel like there's probably a couple people that do that. Let me know if there were, like, instances where it was kind of, like, difficult to follow along when I was, like, responding to chat. Because, like, there would be occasions where I would, forget to, like, read the chat out loud, and I would just respond to it. And it would just sound like I was saying shit out of nowhere. I caught myself doing that a few times and tried to change it, but it's a bad habit, whatever. But yeah, let me know if I ever, like, talked too much about a subject, or if I got annoying, or, like, wasn't entertaining. at some point in the live stream, or if it went downhill, or if I got too preachy, whatever. Give me your fucking criticism, because I love to talk about shit, okay? Just shit in general. Doesn't fucking matter what it is. As long as I get to ramble about something, right? You know, this is like an outlet for me to autistically ramble about whatever I want, and just get watch time from being me. And it's like effortless for me, you know? Most people have to put effort into it. I don't. I'm good at public speaking because I don't know. I just am. Because I have so many things to say. And I'm very good at saying things without having an actual filter. But that's what YouTube is for. That's the point. It would be a shitty platform if that wasn't the point. You know, but good thing they would never prioritize corporations and have a weird algorithm that they just don't fucking explain to anybody that works in mysterious ways. And a good thing it's like just a platform for the people to express themselves, right? Right, guys? Yeah. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this live stream slash unlisted live stream slash podcast. I'm very bad at doing outros, so I'm very sorry about that. But this is sort of like an outlet for me to do long form content because I really, really fucking enjoy long form content. Like, it's I don't want to say an addiction, but like, you know, it's like, maybe I spend a little bit too much time listening to long form content. Let's just say that. Because hours of my day get wasted. But yeah. Anyways, stay tuned, I guess, for the next stream. And I hope you don't die in a house. See, I even look tired now. I'm like, without paying attention to my appearance, I just look tired. Like when I was like, like, and now I'm like, oh, I better look awake so I don't look like shit. Now that I am looking at my reflection in the reversed reflection, it's like flipped horizontally. It's weird. Like this looks like it feels like what I would normally see if I raised my left hand, but this is my right hand. But it's like over there on my screen. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know if I like that or not. I don't know. Or I don't like it, but I don't know if I dislike it. If it bothers me or not. It kind of does. Only a little bit though. Just a tad bit. It's kind of cool though. It's like, ooh, wow, that's like different.